Okay, welcome to the September 2022 CV3 Manhattan CV3 SLA meeting. My name is Michelle Coopersmith. I am the chair. My colleague Jeanette Kim will be helping me with the Zoom. So if you have any issues with technology or whatnot, please direct your comments to us in the chat and we'll do our best to help you. Just a reminder that this meeting is being recorded, as you heard. If you have not already, please sign into the chat with your name and affiliation. The chat is only to be used to sign in, sign up to speak, or ask about technical issues. The chat will go to me and Jeanette. I will announce when each agenda item is up for comment from the public. Please use your raise hand function on Zoom. It should be under reactions. If you want to speak on that agenda item, you will be recognized in the order that I see you, and with a maximum 2-minute time limit. If there are a lot of people here for an agenda item, I might further limit that time. If you're here representing a group, please select no more than 2 speakers, but you can also just let us know how many people are here with your group, and we'll put that in the minutes. And please keep yourself muted unless you've been recognized to speak to avoid background noise. You should see here that some of these items will not be heard tonight. Number 4 and number 12 have withdrawn, so they are not being held tonight. If you're here for either one of those, 42 Market Street or 318 Grand, you just got your night back. So please do not stay waiting for it to be heard. This happens frequently with SLA items because people are not ready to be heard by us, so they'll drop out. I'll also note that we are not expecting the applicants for 151 Avenue A to be here tonight. So if you're here for that one, I can't promise you that they will be here. So yeah, okay, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen now. And the first agenda item, oh, and I should also say that I will almost certainly go out of order on the agenda tonight. The first 3 will be number 8, number 5, and then number 3, and then probably number 9. So just to reiterate, number 8, number 5, number 3 will be the first 3. And then the first item on our agenda tonight is if there are any objections from the committee members to last month's minutes, please voice those concerns now. Okay, hearing none, I'm going to go into a roll call vote. Michelle Coopersmith, present. Jeanette Kim,
Present.
Sarah is enjoying herself on vacation. Jesse Beck.
Here.
David Crane.
Here.
Jamie Felber. Amanda Liu.
Here.
Paul Sierros.
Here.
Thank you, committee. Oh, and I should also say, apologies, I didn't say this. That number 10, 210 Avenue A, we, as noted on our agenda, we will not be hearing additional public input this month. We did it all last month, and it will only be for committee discussion and resolution making, just so everyone's aware. Okay, are the applicants for number 8 here? That is
Hello.
Wolf of 3rd Avenue, 145 2nd Avenue.
Yes.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, for those of you who are new to the meetings, the run of show is effectively I will call each application, and I will do my best to remember to drop the questionnaire in the chat so that everyone can follow along. Just so everyone knows, these are all on the website, and they're posted by our amazing office staff so that the public has access to the information. And I will read through the highlights of each application and then give the applicant a chance to add anything that I missed. Then the committee will get a chance to ask questions, and then we'll go to anyone here from the public. I'll ask you to raise your hands. Okay, so the first application tonight is for 145 2nd Avenue, Wolf of 3rd Avenue LLC, doing business as Balkan Streat. They're seeking a wine beer license, right, Phil?
Correct.
Okay. It's a fast casual Balkan restaurant. Oh, someone has a dog, but maybe you can.
Sorry, that was me.
That's okay. You're good. A certificate of occupancy of 74 people. This location was previously a Starbucks. It's on the corner of 9th Street and 2nd Avenue, and it was not been licensed. Both applicants have a long history as managers in the hospitality and food industry. They're opening a similar concept on 6th Avenue on the other side of town. 25 residents who live within 2 blocks of the location, including 10 who live above the premises, signed a petition in favor. They're asking for opening no later than 12 p.m. all days and closing by 11 p.m. Sunday to Thursday and 2 a.m. Friday to Saturday. Happy hour, if they have one, will end at 7, and all the standard stipulations they've agreed to, ambient recorded background music only, all that fun stuff. Anything that I missed there, Phil?
Not much. I'll just quickly introduce everyone. Thank you, Michelle. My name is Phil Dorn, attorney with Pazetsky and Bookman. With me are the 2 owners, Jason Correa and Will Jurek. Most of the basics were covered by Michelle, but I would just like to add that the 2 of them are experienced operators. This project is heavily food focused, not alcohol focused, hence the beer and wine only, and no need for the full liquor. No TVs, no DJs. This isn't a sports bar. It's an Eastern European Balkan quick service restaurant that simply seeks to serve beer and wine with its heavy meats, which is customary for the type of food they serve. And I think you may have mentioned, but the 2 of them conducted outreach over the past few weeks. They received several petition signatures in support of their application. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Phil. Any questions from the committee about this application? Anyone from the committee? Okay, I myself don't have any questions. This seems pretty straightforward to me. Committee, you know that I shared a draft resolution with you. I will share that on the screen, and you can tell me if you want to adopt it. Effectively, this resolution just has all the things that I read aloud 2 minutes ago. Committee, does this look good to you?
Looks good to us on our end.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks, Jesse. Anyone else on the committee have any? Are we going for we're good with this? David, I see you've unmuted.
Yeah, I think it looks, I mean, this looks standard to me. It's good.
Okay. Great. Anyone here from the public to speak on this item? This is number 8, 145 2nd Avenue. Please raise your Zoom hand now and I'll recognize you. Okay, I don't see any hands. We didn't receive any. I'll delete this part from this because we didn't receive any emails ahead of time about the application, and there's no one here to speak on it. Okay, committee, any objections to adopting this motion? Okay. Hearing none, so I will stop sharing this, and then as we standardly do, I'll go through the stipulations just to make sure that we're all on the same page about it. It's one great thing about the Zoom times is we can share screen on this stuff, easier for the applicants and the lawyers. Okay. Okay, sharing stipulations. Okay, this should all be the same as the resolution I just shared. 145 2nd Avenue, wine, beer, and cider, fast casual Balkan, closing 11 p.m. Sunday to Thursday and 2 a.m. Friday to Saturday. They use outdoor space. It will be closed by 10 p.m. No speakers or monitors. They'll close their front or rear facade doors at 10 p.m. every night. No DJs, no live music, no promoted events, no event with a cover fee, no scheduled performances, ambient recorded background music only. They'll not seek a change in class to a full on-premises liquor license without coming back here. No unlimited drink specials. If they have a happy hour, will end by 7. No wait lines. Staff person responsible for ensuring no loitering. All look good, Phil,
All
and
look
applicants.
great.
Fabulous. Committee, any flags? Oh, is someone named James want to speak on this item? This is 145 Second Avenue. No, okay. Just the raised hand is under the reaction, should be under your reactions option. Yeah. Okay, great. So I'm going to move
Great.
this to a vote. Committee. This is 145 Second Avenue. David Crane. Okay, I see. Paul Sierras.
Yes.
In order if I see. Amanda Liu,
Yes.
Jeanette Kim,
Yes.
Jesse Beck,
Yes.
Michelle Cooper Smith. This motion carries. I say yes. Okay, thanks, Phil. Thanks, applicants. We'll send you the stipulations hopefully by tomorrow morning. And please get them back by Friday, right, Susan?
Will do. Thank you very much,
Thanks.
everyone.
Yes.
Thank you very
much.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
guys.
Bye.
Okay, the next application we're going to hear is number 5. 7882 East 4th Street. Are the applicants for that one here?
I am still here.
Okay, are your applicants here?
Yes, they should be. I don't know who's sitting with whom in a room, but I should have Reg and Harry and Lunas.
You can unmute
You guys are here.
to identify yourself, just so I know you're here. Oh, I see you. Okay, great.
That's Reg and Harry.
Okay, great. I'm going to drop. Hello.
Hello.
I'm going to
We
drop
hear
the questionnaire in the chat for everyone to see. And then I'll hit the high points of this one. Okay. This is an application for a full on-premises license in the premises at 7882 East 4th Street between Bowery and 2nd Avenue. This is 2 floors, the cellar level and the first floor. Sorry, I'm just gonna add that before I forget. Cellar, first floor. Certificate of occupancy of 160 people on the first floor and 150 people in the cellar. 16 tables on the first floor and 63 tables in the cellar, 42 seats in the first floor and 132 seats in the cellar with a bar that seats 8 on the first floor and a bar that seats 8 in the cellar. French food prepared in a full kitchen, serving food during all hours of operation. This is proposed to be a joint restaurant and performing arts / movie theater. So the basement, the cellar level will have a projector. And Phil, let me know if I'm screwing up any of the music. So I have recorded background music on the first floor, and then live music as part of theatrical performances and live film music scenes with the DJ that functions as a sound technician in the cellar. There are 24 full on-premises licenses within 500 feet. This location a while back was Stillwater Bar and Grill. If anyone remembers, it was an Oklahoma bar randomly in the East Village. That license expired in December 2019. We know that caused issues for residents when it was on the way. My understanding is when it was on the way out, they stopped carrying and sort of went crazy with the music. So that is a concern for us. This applicant, one of the applicants who was here this evening, was actually approved by this community board for a full on-premises license at this exact location for a very similar method of operation in August 2019, with hours 4 a.m. all night. They were allowed to have a sidewalk cafe until 10 p.m. And they agreed to install soundproofing to ensure that no one could hear sound from this business. And again, if I'm screwing this up, Phil, let me know, but our understanding is that they're now returning, you are now one of the original partners returning with additional partners for the same premises, very similar method of operation that we had already approved them for, to have daily theater performances and screenings of independent and old films 5 days a week. The applicants have experience both in the theater world, movie world, and hospitality. The committee, part of the reason that the committee approved this license was because of the public interest of adding another license in this area, was because of the regular showings of classic and old films, and it's a arts theater, it's an arts block. There's other arts activities right next door. I think they're still closing the street actually for outdoor theater performances on Thursdays. There were no 301 complaints at this location since 2018, but Stillwater's been closed for a long time, so there's been nothing there. We received letters from 2 residents of the building above the premises in opposition to the late hours. We received a petition with 158 signatures from residents within 2 blocks, including 57 residents that live above the proposed premises. The building is actually zoned commercial because it has storefronts on East 4th Street and on 2nd Avenue. You can look it up on Zola, it has a very odd shape. And so the applicants are back asking for a very similar method of operation. As I said, asking for 4 a.m. all days again, but they are committing to only having ticket holders in the first floor after 1 a.m. They will not see patrons on the first floor after that time. We would ask them, I'm sure, to agree to a similar soundproofing stipulation, to work with a sound engineer to ensure that no sound is audible in surrounding residences, which is our typical stipulation for that kind of sound issue. Okay, that was a lot. Phil, did I miss anything?
No, that was fantastic. You covered a lot of what I wanted to mention tonight, but I'll add to that just a little bit more. Again, my name is Phil Dorn, attorney for Pizetsky and Bookman. With me tonight are the owners and part of the extensive operating team at 82 East 4th, Harry, Reg, and Lunes. While Michelle, you did a great job of giving an overview of the application, I just want to add a little color to help explain the application a little further, as I'm sure there are many questions. The space is currently licensed by Ted Arto Inc., an entity that's wholly owned by Harry, one of the applicants before you tonight. Harry has brought on, like Michelle said, additional partners who together have decades of experience in the restaurant and theater industries. A few years ago, like you said, in 2019, the committee approved Harry for a license at this space. And while it was never able to open, Harry and his new team look to now open a similar yet enhanced version of what was approved. As some of you probably know, this address was home to the famous Club 82, which in the 50s and 60s was one of New York's most famous drag institutions, frequented by both locals and celebrities. I know Club 82 later took on several different identities, including I think it was a punk rock venue and all sorts of other types of places. It's the 50s and 60s iteration that the team before you tonight is seeking to revive. Like you mentioned, there are 2 floors. The restaurant upstairs is named Funt, and then the performance theater downstairs. So the French restaurant upstairs, which is named after a legendary Club 82 drag artist, will be headed by a Michelin star chef who has come all the way over from Paris just to take on this project. I point this out just because food is often an afterthought at performance arts establishments, and that's certainly not the case here. This is going to be a really food-focused, very highly regarded restaurant upstairs. And then as you move downstairs, you will enter Club 82, which will be home to the dynamic performing arts space with performances Wednesdays through Sundays. Reg, who is the team's creative director, is already developing several productions for the downstairs space. I'm sure I'm going to do it a disservice to all the hard work he's put into these great productions, but just an example, of what he's developing right now is their project of bringing cinema to life, where for say a month at a time, the entire staff will be in full character, depicting a real life version of a film. So envision the Titanic, where everyone's dressed as a different character and they're fully in character for the entire month. And if people want to hear more about the types of shows that are in development, I'm sure Reg would be happy to go into further detail. Just to quickly try to wrap up here. The applicants are seeking to continue a method of operation that was approved for Harry a couple years ago, which, like Michelle said, would be 4 a.m. each night. The premises was professionally soundproofed by a world-class soundproofing company, of which I'm forgetting the name at the moment, after already consulting with Acoustalog sound engineers, which you all might be familiar with. A lot of applicants before you use Acoustalog. And like Michelle said, beginning at 1 a.m., the restaurant will double down as a waiting area for guests who will be proceeding to the late night show downstairs. So come 1 o'clock, there won't be queues outside. Everyone will be waiting indoors. And then at 2:30, when the final showing begins, there will be no guests at all upstairs. Everyone will go downstairs. And like Michelle said, the upstairs won't be taking on patrons that aren't attending the shows. So everyone that was upstairs will go downstairs and it will be all quiet. There are many other aspects of this application that I'd love to touch on, and I'm sure they'll come up in questions. Lastly, I'll just point out that they have really tried their hardest to do extensive outreach in the last couple months. They've received tons of petition signatures from residents on the block. Like Michelle mentioned, over 150, and including over 50 from residents in the building, which we believe goes a long way. They also received several letters of support from industry leaders in the performing arts industry and the LGBTQ community. And lastly, they reached out to multiple block associations. Those block associations told them they preferred not to give written support, although they did not object to the application either. And in fact, I believe one of them, which I think was the East Fourth Arts Block Association, showed excitement for potential collaborations in the future. So with all that said, I will turn it back over to you, Michelle.
Thanks, Phil. Okay, I'm gonna let the committee ask questions if they have any first. So committee, can you just please raise your hand? Susan, I see that. Did you want to speak, Susan?
No, he answered my question.
Okay.
I was gonna ask if you had been involved with the 4th Street Arts Block.
Yes.
Okay, anyone from the committee have any questions? Please raise your hands.
Just a little confused as to why we're hearing this whole application again, if it was approved for similar.
I kind of had the same question. I don't know, Phil, if you have a succinct answer for that, but my thought was it's about a corporate situation, right?
Yeah, I mean, the reason is legally we had to submit. It's a new entity because Harry brought on new partners and just a business decision. They decided to form a new entity instead of keeping Ted Arto Inc. And because of the change, it's going to be a new application to the Liquor Authority. So we're
Right, a new license holder. All right, fair enough.
Thanks. Yes, Jeanette, good question. I had the same one originally. Anyone else from the committee have any questions?
Yeah, Michelle, is there any DJ
Yeah.
into the?
Oh yeah, Phil, can you just explain what the DJ is? It like just for like DJ, as you know, always raises red flags to us. So can you just explain what the usage of DJs would be?
Absolutely. The DJ will the majority of the time be just the sound technician for these performances. It's not a party atmosphere. It's all just for the sound system and for the live shows. They will be they would like to have private events a couple times a month in case a show is not occurring on a certain evening. And in that case, they would like to be able to have a DJ if possible, but for the most part, it is really just for the performances.
And can you just are you asking for background level music or entertainment level?
Upstairs it'll be background level only, and then downstairs, I mean, I guess it's hard to decipher exactly. It's for a show level, I guess. But I
think that's Susan. That's entertainment level, right?
Yeah, if it's, I mean, that's like a concert, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it won't,
so I think,
right.
yeah,
It certainly won't be a concert. It isn't a music venue. And further, the place is fully soundproofed, and this is down in the cellar, so it will not be able to be heard from the street. So if that means background music because of what you can hear on the street, then it would be background.
So wait, so there's the DJs or no DJs? Because the
he said, I think you're saying, Phil, right, that if you have a private party, you might want to have a DJ curating music, not just doing it for a performance. Is that right?
That's correct. That's exactly right.
Okay, so I guess we could say, if we were okay with that, we could say like it may only use a DJ to curate music during private parties, something like that, rather than just, giving the carte blanche to do whatever they want with the DJ in the basement.
Sure. So I would have to confirm with these guys, but DJ for private events and in conjunction with the performances.
Yeah,
Right.
I can touch on that if you'd like. Yeah, no, we stipulated DJs because we will have performance at all hours of operation, and we will have soundscapes and interstitials that will play either whilst a specific performance is happening or an interlude in between, and we will need one of our like extended crew members to really understand intimately our show. So he would be playing the songs that we need him to play at specific times.
That's a technician, it's not a DJ.
Yeah, but it's not just a technician, because he would actually be kind of a sound designer, I guess, and would know our shows intimately. So it would be kind of our sound designer, and he would be playing the music we need, and it might change slightly as our interstitial night by night. So I thought it was better to tick yes rather than no, and be able to explain and elaborate on that clearly.
Okay, Susan, I mean, Susan, how you think we should stipulate this as far as the SLA would be concerned?
It's a new one for me, but
Yeah,
somehow you should describe what it is, because it is very different than just regular DJs being promoted.
yeah, right. That's what I mean, like that, when we hear DJs that, yeah.
You don't even need to tick the boxes. They're not DJs, they're technicians. So it's like,
Okay, so yeah, I think it's like this is a questionnaire problem.
Yeah,
this is sort of like an edge case.
The phraseology I had in mind was DJs in conjunction with shows and for private events.
Okay, so do you want DJs for private events in the way that we traditionally think of a DJ?
I would rather.
I think that, sorry, just to jump back in, I think that on that, we would like the flexibility to be able to use this incredible space for events. We want to do around 2 a month. And for those events, we would like to be able to just have the conventional term of a DJ if a client asks for it.
Okay, yeah, we're not saying obviously that we'll approve that, but it just for me to understand what you're asking for, so then the committee can consider it. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for working on that. Any other questions from the committee before I go to the public? Okay. If you're here from the public, please raise your hand, your Zoom hand, if you want to speak on this item. Please remain on mute until I recognize you. And I just want to remind everyone to, I think someone's unmuted. I want to remind members of the public that if you're speaking to say if you live near the location that you are speaking on, or if you are here as more of a character witness. Okay, the first hand I see is Jean Stone. Jean, go ahead.
I live at 9090 4th, so I'm just across 2nd Avenue, on the north side of 4th Street. I've lived here 33 years. I'm the co-op board president at 9090 4th. I also used to eat at Stillwater outside because I love their food. I'm really looking forward to having film and a small venue theater in the neighborhood. East 4th is home to a lot of theaters for many, many years with a really good track record. And Elephant kind of fills a need We just went through Fashion Week. We're in Market Week now. And there are a lot of small businesses and designers that are looking for small spaces because they can't afford the big, hotel venues for things like runway shows and things too, and for parties. So to me, this fills a niche that has been missing, and replacing a boarded up storefront with something that's going to be really good food and performance space and film, I just think would be an asset to the community. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, the next hand I see is Aviv. Aviv, go ahead.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Aviv. I live on 65 2nd Avenue. It's actually just above the establishment. First, I did want to recognize that Harry, the applicant, was working with us and collaborating with us on the installation issues. So we are in communication and we are trying to coordinate things, but we do have, and I say we, I think there's another neighbor that is going to join as well. We do have a couple of concerns. One is that the stipulation allows for the place to stay open until now. We, as a background thing, you all probably some of you know that we used to be on top of Stillwater, and we had a lot of issue with there over the years. We had a lot of pain and sleepless night. Now, yes, we do have a better insulation, sound insulation, I hope. But given that, we are very concerned that the stipulation allows to operate until 4 a.m. every day, weekday and weekend, while most establishment allowed to operate until 2 a.m. At most on weekends and midnight on weekdays. Given the history of the noise problem we had in the past, and even though it's supposed to be closing at midnight and be like just a waiting area. A waiting area is what does that mean exactly? Is that in other words like a bar? Because people not just sit there and standing. It's going to be a bar. They're going to be talking. Going to have drinks. So that's our main concern. Just the opening hours. Again, we appreciate Harry's coordination, work with us on installation. We're going to continue to work together, and that's why we, not trying to oppose and say that we completely don't agree to that, but we are very concerned about the opening hour, especially that the
Aviv, if you'd wrap it up, that'd be great.
So just 30 seconds. Just the top floor is going to be used for waiting area even after 1 a.m. It's still going to be very noisy. And the second thing is the old stipulation had a very strict paragraph about that no vibrations and sound can be felt and heard, sound or vibration in our apartments. This needs to be, we need to make sure it's in this stipulation as well. And the last question I have is that the questionnaire says the kitchen is open all hours. And I remember, at least when I was speaking to the applicant, said that it will be closing at midnight. But our main concern is the 4 a.m. every day. That's really like a big issue for us. It's very important for the neighborhood. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks. Phil, do you want to answer the question about the kitchen?
About the kitchen?
Is it going to be open all hours?
Oh, yes. Okay. All hours of operation.
Okay, great. Okay, the next hand I see is Sky's iPhone. Sky, go ahead.
Hey guys, my name is Skylar Schaffer. I live at 78 East 3rd Street in between 1st and 2nd. I met the guys reopening the place while they're collecting signatures, and honestly, it really seems like they're out here doing their diligence and talking with their neighbors. After I took some time and researched the venue and discovered all the amazing LGBTQ history, I'm just really excited that these guys want to make the theater authentically and make it a space to view late night performance, which I think is what the community needs. I feel it's an important part of East Village history, and it would definitely be a shame to deny that. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for keeping it brief. Next hand I see is Ellen Mandel. Ellen, go ahead.
I actually was coming to this meeting thinking it was about an application for 10th Street and 3rd Avenue.
That's going to come up later.
Okay, and well, I don't think I can stay, so I just want to put in my voice saying I'm completely opposed to an establishment at 10th Street and 3rd Avenue selling alcohol to all
okay.
hours.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next hand I see is Michael Seligman. Michael, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Michael Seligman. I am a television producer, a filmmaker, podcaster. I've spent about 7 years. I made a film that was at the Tribeca Film Festival last summer called P.S. Burn This Letter, Please, which is an exploration of the history of drag, specifically at the Club 82. I did a podcast called Mob Queens, which is all about the former owners of the Club 82. And, you know, as a television producer on RuPaul's Drag Race, you know, I can speak to the fact that this establishment is really, it's iconic. It's a legendary place, you know, and I've spent time with Harry and with Reg and, you know, seen their plans. And, you know, as someone who spent quite a few years researching this history, to see their plans and to see how they're honoring the past in the present is really kind of exciting. I think as a new establishment, you know, to see young people like excited to kind of honor this really, really important, not just to drag history or pop culture history, but also super important to the LGBTQ plus community. I'm just beyond thrilled that this is in the works. So I just want to add that.
Thank you. Okay, next hand I see is Anastasia. Anastasia, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Anastasia. I live on East 4th Street between 1st and 2nd Avenue. I met Lunas recently down the street, and he told me about his projects, and I think it's very interesting projects. I'm in favor of it, and I think it's something that I, as a neighbor, would be happy to have it like next block to me. I think it sounds like what community needs in East Village. So I love the idea, and I vote for it. Thank you.
Thank you. The next hand I see is, I'm sorry, Regina, is that right?
It's Regine.
Regine, okay, sorry, go ahead, Regine. Thank you.
I know Harry for 3 years now, and I have a lot of respect for him and what he's doing. And I appreciate the benefit to the neighborhood that this will be. My concern is that I live directly over the restaurant, right on.
Sorry.
And you know, for me, it's a personal, you know, it's a personal issue that I suffered with for many years, as Harry knows. So I am concerned about the 4 a.m. opening every night for that reason. I understand that that's what, you know, the format of the place is in the basement, that needs to be open very late. I do hope that they will keep the first floor quiet as it gets late, because it will be a big problem if not. And I'm hoping that you will include this statement that you put in the first stipulation, that they will install soundproofing consistent with the recommendations of a sound engineer in cooperation with affected building residents on both floors, and will ensure that sound from business is inaudible to, and vibrations from the business are not felt by neighboring residents. Very important to have that in the stipulations for us. Of course, if I had my druthers, I'd rather have it not open till 4. But as I said, I can 4 a.m. rather. So as I said, I really appreciate Harry's work. I see that he's working very hard to insulate, and I appreciate everything he's doing. So I am speaking for my own welfare here. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next hand I see is Suzanne Dalton. Suzanne, go ahead.
Oh, it's Susan, by the way.
Susan, sorry, go ahead.
And it's the way it is.
I'm butchering names tonight. You're not the only one, don't worry.
Yeah, trust me.
Go ahead.
I live on 4th Street and I've been living in that neighborhood since 1962. I'm 80 years old, believe it or not. And I've lived on that block since 1970. And I actually went to the 82 Club at one time, you know, why not? And it was fun. But what's interesting, and nobody has mentioned that, is that when you were on the street before you went downstairs, you couldn't hear it. And now they've gone bent over backwards. So vibration is something else, but excuse the pun, but I was signing a petition. I was asked to sign a petition on the street. And I very quietly grilled the person who had the petition. Plus I met the chef, who I also asked a lot of questions. And I have to tell you that people on the block, people who live on the block, are actually excited about it. It's what was the word the lawyer used? Enhanced. I think that it's going to enhance the neighborhood. I don't think that it's going to be a hangout for what you don't see as much on the block, because some things have changed for the better. Drunk college students with fake IDs, which is still happening. I live on the same side as the comedy club, and nobody monitors what they do when they're online, and the Cape GB bar. But these people are trying very hard to not have any of that going on, and that impressed me. And also, I just think the whole idea of it, it's so historical. It's exciting. What they want to do is exciting. It's not a hash house feeding people, because when they talk about Stillwater,
Susan, if you don't mind wrapping up, that'd be great.
And move to the other side. I mean, I lived on the other side, but I was walking on that side of the block just because it was too noisy, and nobody made an effort to curb it. And these people are bending over backwards to avoid any of that. So I just find the whole project really, really exciting. It's cabaret is what they're really talking about. And when you talk about DJ, what is most of that DJ doing? It's the orchestra pit. They're backing up the performers. They're not the performer. So I can't think of anything. If anybody wants to ask me a question, go ahead.
Thank you, Susan. We appreciate it.
And you know, and I'm not moving.
Got it. Thank you, Susan. Well, I'm going to go to the next Susan in my life, which is Susan Stetzer. Go ahead. I see your hand is up.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to say a few words to the owners, because I think you're going to have real effort. It's a very unusual block. You know, you have 4th Street Arts Block, which is the first arts block in New York City, and amazing. And it's also, you have a lot of homes there. You have a lot of families. You have Cooper Square Mutual Housing, which is low-income families, as well as other buildings, such as the one above this. And it's a great community, but I think you can also have to just be very careful when you have particularly private parties there till 4 a.m. on a quiet street during the week. I just think you're going to have to exercise a lot of caution. And so I just wanted to urge you to do that. I also wanted to say, when the sound engineer was in the building, I was with him, including in the bedrooms, and we did have it so that there was no sound audible. So I'm just assuming that they're going to keep that setting, and there won't be any sound in the apartments.
Thank you, Susan. And Susan, I have a question about the vibrations thing, because I actually didn't see that in the stipulations. Is that something that a sound engineer does? I didn't think so.
Well, you know, that wasn't part of the sound engineering that we did, I think was in 2019. I don't remember that. Maybe it was, maybe there was no way to test it.
It wasn't in the stipulation, so that's why I'm asking if you remember, but
I actually
It was
don't know.
stipulation. it was in vibration, no vibration was in the stipulation number 5.
Yeah, okay, then it must have been part, I think it was Acoustalog, right? It must have been part of what they
Yes, it
did.
was.
Yes, it was Acoustalog.
Okay, Aviv, if you like 20 seconds, if you have another question, we have a long night, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Just again,
you.
recognizing all the effort and the cooperation from Harry. It's just trying to understand why other establishment, bar restaurants get, to open until midnight, and this is 4 a.m. That's my main point, and I urge the committee to consider this. That's all, and maybe work and see what we can work out regarding the opening hours. That's all.
Thank you. Okay, I'm not seeing any other hands. So committee, do you have any questions for the applicants before we start a discussion on this? Nothing from the committee? Okay. I'm just looking at the stipulation that they were talking about. It says ensure that sound from business is inaudible to and vibrations in the business are not felt by neighboring residents. So I added that to the stipulations. Number 7.
It's me. Hello.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Hi. You're in my lower left-hand corner.
My only thing is the DJ. No matter what you do, the vibrations will never go away. If there's bass vibrations, I was doing this. It doesn't matter what company does what. It's just
even in the cellar level.
It doesn't matter. So the building's connected, unless I don't know if a building the foundation is not connected to the other floors. The DJ is the problem. We have to be a little. The people deserve to live there. That's all. That's my only thing, because we all know that it gets out of control at some point.
Yeah. Well, one thing that we could do there, Paul, is say that they could use a DJ, but at background levels only. So it's not like
Except you and Susan, not me. You the guys are the bosses.
I know, but we respect your opinion because you used to do this. So I just like we could, because we could say like they may have DJs at private parties, but at background levels only. So it's not like that kind of, party DJ. Is that something that you guys would be?
Madam Chair, is it possible for me to jump in quickly?
Yeah, go for it.
I'd like firstly really to introduce myself. I'll be operating the restaurant and the theater along with Reg and Harry. And firstly, I wanted to say that to thank everyone for their time, for showing either support or concern. We've been taking them really seriously across now. It's been almost like 2 years. And it's a street that means a lot, and a history that means a lot to people, and it comes with a lot of obligation, and we take them very seriously. I'd like to really come back to one of the concerns that we're going to open. The kitchen will be open until 4 a.m. We'll have a full menu until 1 a.m. It's a restaurant that's very wine focused. So we have a lot of organic wines and a lot of skin contact wine, about 250 references. We're bringing a sommelier from Paris called Elliot de Moucheron. But it's, someone's been mentioning a Michelin star chef. It is indeed, but it's, we're not aiming for a Michelin star here. We're keeping the tables quite close distance, and it's really a neighborhood restaurant. On the other side, really the DJ, as Reginald was saying, is for soundscape, but also we wanted to reserve ourselves with some kind of flexibility and variety within our operation, and to have the ability to have immersive theaters and also cinema. And that's why it means a lot for us to have this entertainment level music, because we need it for those reasons. We're working with a company called Theater Project, so that I'll wrap it up. And they're really committed into working with a sound system that's very full, but not front loaded with no bass. Therefore, keeping the sound, it's very unlikely. And I mean, it's part of a stipulation, we will not have any vibration within the building. Thank you.
Great, thank you. David, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess what it comes down to is whether there's a dance party or not. You know, entertainment level, if you're, you know, if it's sound that commands your attention and you can't have conversation, if that's what entertainment means, well, that sounds fine for the block. But if it's a dance party where it's like, you not only can't have conversation, you really can't greet someone because it's a nightclub, that's a problem. So I don't know, when I hear the word entertainment level, well, I don't really know how that's defined. I mean, I don't think we're talking.
Well, I think we would say
130
only for
decibel
the
walk-ons.
private parties that they would have the DJs without, you know, not for.
Well, we don't allow DJs like that anywhere that in the couple of years I've been on the committee, I don't recall us ever.
I mean, this seems like a pretty unique space compared to things that we've done before, honestly, especially if it's like cellar level, we're gonna put in the SIP about no vibrations and no sound.
I would just add that even for the private parties, it won't be a dance party. It won't be a nightclub it will not be a nightclub. I think as Ms. Stone mentioned, Fashion Week just happened. I think so the vision is kind of like during Fashion Week, if they were to have a runway show or something along those lines, and there would just be a DJ curating, it would be along those lines. It will never be a nightclub. It will never be just to go downstairs and party on a dance floor.
So
So we have a stipulation for seats also, David, like tables and seats, so.
Right.
But there are, okay, well, I mean, it's sounding right. It would be great if we could write it in somehow into the stipulations, but these buildings, they're brick walls and they're wood floors.
Well, this actually isn't, this is not a tenement, actually.
Okay.
But just to, yeah.
So
Paul,
it's
do you want to say something?
not that kind of building, because I will say that
No.
it's kind of a building. The sound basically between floors is basically a, you know, drum head.
No, it's not a tenement, no.
So if I might speak to that, the space was actually built as a theater back in 1927. So it's that really caters to what we're doing. And on top of that, we're working with Kinetics, which is like a world-renowned noise control company. And we're really like just like soundproofing is like something that we're really like focusing on. In fact, not to get into too much, but we had like built an acoustical ceiling and then we inspected it, was not built correctly, we ripped it down and we started all over again. So we're, just to,
Thank you. Susan, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, first of all, sound does travel in that building. It did before, and we were able to, with the engineers, he was able to identify how it was. So I'm going to suggest maybe go back to your original suggestion of DJs at background level.
Okay. Jesse, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, I just want to clarify because we're only on the second one right now, and I feel like we're kind of talking about how many angels on a pinpoint. This is 2 DJs at private party events, correct? That's what we're talking about right now, just DJs at private parties.
Outside of the performances.
Outside of the performances.
Right, outside of when the DJ is used in conjunction with shows, then yes, just for private parties. It won't be a random Tuesday night dance party.
And that's fine with me. People can dance on Tuesday. That's fine with me. So I'm just not quite sure. Maybe I'll just make a movement to try and get things going that like, I'm fine with the DJs as is, as entertainment level for the private parties. Yeah, I guess I'll make that. So we can kind of get.
And we're happy to stipulate to twice a month.
At twice a month, and it's only twice a month. So.
Okay. Is there a second for that position?
Is it a motion or isn't that what's already in the thing?
No, it was, it's like a motion.
I second the motion.
Okay, thanks. Anyone against this motion? Okay. So just to be clear, it will not have more than 2 private parties per month, and at those private parties, it may have a DJ to curate music, entertainment. Okay.
And just to clarify, the DJ during the shows as well will be entertainment level.
Yeah, I'm gonna call that though, a sound technician to curate music during performances.
Great.
Okay, anyone here have, one other question, Phil, is about the wait lines. What's the plan for
Yeah,
that?
so that's kind of what I was alluding to earlier. After 1 o'clock, everyone will be indoors. The goal is to have nobody outside on the sidewalk queuing. But after 1 o'clock, if there were to be a line, everyone would go inside. So post 1 o'clock, there won't be anyone outdoors.
Susan?
Yeah, we've always been not having wait lines outside, particularly with under so many bedroom windows. Maybe they could like text people to come back or something, use another.
Yeah, what are the wait lines like for, like while they're waiting to come to get their tickets checked, or like what's the plan for that?
Harry, perhaps you can speak to that.
I can touch on that if you'd like. We have an small occupancy downstairs. It's quite unlikely that we're going to have sold out shows every night. And it's rather like the people that arrive very early will be able to wait in the restaurant. But really the people that arrive close to showtime will just be walked straight down the stairs. There won't really be extensive queues. If we do get half of our ticket buyers early, they'll just be able to wait inside to not stand on the street.
And it's a reservation only restaurant.
Really?
Okay, I just want to say that, this was in the last round, the stipulations that you said, I will not have wait lines outside. That's sort of like a card line for us.
Can you guys agree to that?
Although, Michelle, we have been there for when we have made stipulations with lines before. The place on Houston next to Avenue A, we had to work with them on that.
Yeah. I just think it's like a little bit different because it's a side street.
Because it's a side. All right. I just want to say that.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Lines are not like out of the question.
Can you guys agree to no queuing outside?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Appreciate
that, working with us on that. Okay, committee, any other flags on this application? We have a lot more to do tonight. Okay. All right, I'm going to share the resolution then in that case. Okay, I basically read through all of this now, probably 20-30 minutes ago. But this is for the cellar level and first floor at 7882 East 4th Street. We talked about the prior or the existing license, I should say, that they're coming back with new partners, about the public interest, about the people that testified. I was gonna say character witness testified in favor. And then, as you can see, this 1 a.m., no wait lines, the music stipulation, and I can make this a little bigger. And then it will install soundproofing as necessary in coordination with the sound engineer to ensure no sound is audible or vibrations are felt in surrounding residences, to track with the last stipulations.
1 a.m. 4 a.m.
So, I'm sorry, Aviva, I'm not recognizing you. Please mute yourself. Committee applicants, any flags? Okay. I'm not hearing any. I'm just going to share the stipulations now so we can go through those. Okay. So 7882 East 4th Street, cellar level on first floor, restaurant, performing arts and film theater. Hours of operation, open till 4 a.m. all nights, no seating on the first floor after 1 a.m. They'll have doormen 9 p.m. until closing and or within an hour of any scheduled performance. This is the sound stipulation. This is the stipulation about DJs at private parties. They can have a sound technician to curate music for performances. It may have promoted events, scheduled performance and events with cover fee. No happy hours. They graciously agreed to no wait lines. Staff person responsible for ensuring no loitering outside. And just to be clear that we're all play ambient background music only on the first floor and may play entertainment level in the cellar. Any concerns there, applicants or committee?
Looks great.
Okay, committee. Okay. I'm going to move this to a vote in that case. Just a reminder, committee, this is 7882 East 4th Street. Been talking about it for a while. I hope you remember. Okay, Jesse Beck.
Yes.
David Crane.
Yes.
Paul Ciros.
Yes.
Jeanette Kim.
Yes.
Amanda Liu.
Yes.
Okay, thanks, everyone. This motion carries. I'm also voting yes. Thanks, applicants and
Michelle,
residents for your
really
time.
quickly, Michelle, I know I forgot about this for a second. The way you guys operate with hours of operation. So it says 12 and 11.
Oh, yeah.
So should we scale that back so it?
Do you want like 5 p.m. or something?
Yeah, 5 p.m. and then they'll most likely be open earlier, but just in case.
Okay. Is the committee okay with that? Opening no later than 5 p.m. all days. We forgot David to ask them. David's off his game tonight, obviously. Otherwise,
Come on, David.
Okay, thank you, Phil, for clarifying that. Or else we've had to edit at the full board meeting, and no one likes to do that. So,
all right, take care, everyone.
thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you, everyone. Have a
Thank
good
you.
Okay. Okay, I had said that the next one was going to be number 3. Are the applicants for number 3 here? That's 2 booths on Avenue A.
Yes, we're present.
Okay, are your clients here?
Yes, Chris Bartle, one of the principals.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Okay, great. Okay, this is 42 Avenue A. Gonna drop the questionnaire, and we'll do number 2 next after this. Okay.
Okay, ready for me?
No, I'll hit the highlights and then I'll go to you.
Got it.
Okay, so this is an application for wine, beer, and cider license at 42 Avenue A for Double Shot TV East Village. 2 booths. It's been there, I think, under different corporate guises for a very long time, since September 1998. This corporate entity asked for, we gave administrative approval for a beer wine license in September 2020. This applicant is also principal at 2 booths in the West Village. No 301 complaints. We didn't receive any support or, again, opposition to the application. We got 8 residents that live above the premises signed a petition. The applicant is asking for closing hours of 10 p.m. Sunday to Wednesday, 11 p.m. Thursday, and 1 a.m. Friday and Saturday. Is that accurate, Kenneth?
So I think actually we would prefer the option to be open to 2 a.m. But right now their current hours are 1 a.m. on Friday and Saturday they close, and 11 p.m. Sunday through Thursday.
11 p.m. Sunday through Thursday.
As the neighborhood, comes back a little bit more and there's more demand for pizza with people out late, they'd like to be able to meet that demand.
Okay. So opening by 12 p.m. all day is closing by 11 p.m. Sunday to Thursday, and you're asking for 2 a.m. Friday and Saturday?
Yeah, we would ask for that, the option that they be able to stay open to 2 a.m. on all days should the need arise.
Okay. Okay. Anything else to add there? Do you have an active license right now, or did you not end up applying?
They do not have an active license right now. I can't speak to why that is about.
Okay. I just asking because we had given administrative approval, but I know you're coming back for the same corporate entity, so I'm just trying to figure out what happened. So, but okay. Anything else to add there?
Nope, that's it. I mean, they've just been a staple of New York City nightlife since 1987, cranking out the best Cajun influenced pizza with cornmeal crust. And, you know, they want to keep doing it. So they need that beer and wine license.
Sure. Okay. Any questions from the committee? Okay. Oh, David, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, your petition had a 1 a.m. closing. Is that correct? I think you need to stick to 1 a.m. in this request because of that. I don't think that the committee should grant 2 a.m. if you told the community it's 1 a.m.
I mean, I'm sure we could go back and get everyone to sign a 2 a.m. petition if that's what you want to make us do.
Can I speak on that for a second?
Yeah, Phil, go ahead.
Yeah, hey, this is Phil. So, you know, I think as a lot of you know, during COVID, everyone's hours have been really in flux. For 20 years, we were open till 2 a.m. on weekends. And then during COVID, because people weren't out and it was so hard to get staff, we cut back dramatically. We were, I think, open till 11 at one point. And, you know, so we've been trying to gauge it like really month by month, what works. And we were open only till 1 up till a month ago. And we are open till 2 now, like we were before COVID. So, you know, we'd like to stay that way. And we're hoping that, you know, that we're virus free and we have enough staff to keep doing that. And we would like to serve wine and beer until we close. But, you know, obviously, you know, we understand that this has been kind of a moving target.
Right. I think I'll have to back David up with that because the like we're sticklers about the petitions and, you know, making sure that the community is aware of what they're actually signing. And so I don't think it would be fair to count those signatures as for an application where you're asking for hours that were not on there, if that makes sense. So I don't know if that means that you would prefer to withdraw and come back a different month, or if you want us to go forward with the 1 a.m.
No, we'll just go forward.
Okay. Susan Stetzer, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So some of my questions are going to be informed as people know I live across the street. First thing I'll say about Two Boots is we'd be devastated if we lost them. But I am curious about the petitions because I looked for some support from, you know, across the street. And what I found in your petitions is you got 8 signatures from the building above you. All the Avenue A signatures on that block and the block above are from businesses, and the instructions clearly say residents. So there's 2 buildings across the street with about 75 units directly facing, and there's not one signature. And the other block on the east side, the other residents on the east side, which is 50 Avenue A, there's not one signature. And as I said, the ones on that block and the block above are all businesses. I know the people who signed them, and they are either owners or waiters, that sort of thing. So I'm wondering why you didn't do any outreach, particularly since you're such a beloved member of the community, why you didn't do any outreach in those buildings.
Susan, can you hear me?
He's a key member.
Yeah, hey, I'll take responsibility for that. I delegated it, and I guess the person who I asked to didn't understand the direction.
I'm sorry, I'm losing you.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I said that I apologize because I delegated it, and probably the person didn't understand what was required. So
Okay.
I think I know as well as you do that there's a lot of support in that building, but I'm sorry that we didn't get their signatures.
So the only concern is, at night, it can get very noisy, and the people that are there, say at 1 or 2, would not be the general people that live there, but people going, bar hopping. So I would really ask that you be very, very careful about the noise after midnight.
Of course.
Thanks. David Crane, go ahead.
Yeah, the petitions, gathering business petitions, frankly, it's just an annoying thing. It's not seriously a problem. It certainly doesn't delegitimize the whole thing. It's just annoying. It happens and then it comes up. And about which buildings or how many signatures, we've always basically said, well, as long as there are some signatures that are really from nearby residences and the people in the same building are the nearest, then that is fine. In the absence of more guidance or requirements, we really can't evaluate whether petitions are valid based on which buildings have been canvassed.
Thanks, David. Susan, do you have anything else?
Yeah,
I'd like to move on, but yeah.
I'm going to push back on that because our guidelines very clearly say across the street and behind. It is a method of letting people know. I'm not at all suggesting that people wouldn't support. As I said, everybody loves this business. I just asked why they didn't why they didn't follow the guidelines.
Yeah.
And I didn't say the business was a problem. I just pointed it out that they were all businesses.
Okay, I'm gonna back up David here, which is that we don't actually usually do this much of an assessment of these signatures. They got 8 signatures from the building above, and that's plenty fine generally. So anyone else from the committee have any concerns about this before I share the resolution?
No, let's move on. Yeah, let's keep going.
Okay, anyone here from the community to speak on this item, number 3, 42 Avenue A? Put up your Zoom hand. I didn't see anyone signing into the chat on this. I don't think there is. Okay, I'm going to share the resolution quickly. Oh, one
There is
question.
one hand.
Oh, no, she's a lawyer. We can put her hand down. She's for the
Okay.
next one. Or she's a representative, I should say. Kenneth, how many seats are there? Is there a bar where people can sit and get served? Can you tell us how many seats there are there?
Seats, and it's a customer bar. They order, or the same place they order their pizza.
How many seats? Sorry, you cut off for a second.
30.
30. Okay. Wait. Oh no, at the bar. Are there seats at the bar?
There are no seats at the bar.
Okay.
There's no bar even.
Yeah. Well, there's.
Okay. You must have checked it off in the questionnaire. That's why we have it here.
Okay.
I think it's
you
because
serve alcohol from there, so we have to
legally
consider it a stand up.
Yeah.
It's a customer bar is what they call it.
Okay, just needed to clarify that for the resolution. Okay. So all right, so just run through this quickly. Beer, wine, were previously licensed. We gave you the admin approval, no complaints, opening no later than 12 p.m. all days and closing by 11 p.m. Sunday to Thursday and closing by 1 a.m. Friday to Saturday. All the other standards, no happy hours. Committee have any flags about this? Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing. I'm gonna share the stipulations. Okay. Okay, so as I said, beer, wine, 42 Avenue A, pizza restaurant, opening no later than 12 p.m. and closing by 11 p.m. Sunday to Thursday and Friday, Saturday, 1 a.m. If they have outdoor space, they'll close it by 10 p.m. They'll close any front or rear for side doors at 10 p.m. No DJs, no live music, no promoted events, no event with a cover fee, no scheduled performances, ambient recorded background music only. They will not do an alteration without coming back to us. They will not seek an upgrade without coming back to us. No pub crawls, no boozy brunches, no happy hours, no wait lines, staff person responsible for ensuring no loitering. Everything look right, Kenneth?
Yep, looks good to me.
Okay. Any other flags, committee, before we go to a vote? Okay. Committee moving this to a vote. This is number 3, 42 Avenue A. David Crane,
Yes.
Paul Ciros,
Yes.
Amanda Liu,
Yes.
Jesse Beck,
Yes.
Jeanette Kim,
Yes.
Michelle Cooper Smith. Yes. Okay, this motion carries. We will send you your stipulations tomorrow morning.
Hey, can I just say one quick thing?
Sure, go ahead.
Well, first of all, thank you, Chair. And Susan, thanks for the kind words. I really appreciate it. I also want to say we've been in the neighborhood for 35 years, which was born at A and 3rd, and love the East Village as much today as I did 35 years ago. And we're just like really proud to be part of it, and hope we've got another 35 years left.
Great. Thank you, Phil. Okay, the next item we're gonna do tonight is number 2. I'm just gonna take a quick break. Jeanette, do you mind just blocking and tackling if anyone unmutes and asks questions?
Sure thing. My
Thank you.
favorite job.
Thank you. Hi, thank you for all being patient. We're gonna move on to number 2 for St. Mark's Place Lava Ground LLC. Was the applicant here for that one?
I'm here. Hi, this is Aurelia Tavares, the representative for
Hi.
Lava Ground. How are you, everyone? I'm like holding to run into the meeting. Okay. How
Hold
are
on,
you, everyone?
Aurelia,
Thank
just one
you for-
second. Is your client here as well?
Yes, he should be on the call.
Okay,
Yes, I'm here, guys. Hello.
hi. Okay.
Halloween is on the call.
Hi, Halloween. Okay, so I'm just gonna run through this quickly, just to remind everyone, we actually started to hear this application last month, and the applicant asked to withdraw just so that they could sort some things out, because there had been some confusion about this location for St. Mark's Place. There's both like a ground level and then a first level up the stairs, and there was some confusion about whether this operator was which, because this application had originally had 2 business partners on it, but one dropped out. So just like to hit like the quick highlights, and then I'd like to hear from the applicant about the concerns that we had last month. So they're asking, so it's the ground level, so down kind of below, it's not fully below ground, but slightly take a few steps down for St. Mark's. For Lava Ground, seasoned lower level LLC, C of O of 79 people, during all hours of operation. I think you're asking just to close by 2 a.m. now, right?
All the way around, yes.
All days 2 a.m. Okay. This is for beer or wine. And you're asking for DJs to curate
What happened is that the name of the whole, he put his name is Lava Ground. Apparently, when they were identifying the building for an event on the second floor, which is of concern because it's unrelated to him, because he's not part of a marijuana establishment. I'm not even sure the licenses are out yet, but okay. So, but not to throw any establishment under the bus, one of the prior partners wanted to be related to that, and he said no, and he took him out of the license, and the applicant is applying by himself, unrelated to anything on the second floor. There's no connection between the second and the first floor. I say the second and the first floor. He's the ground floor, but it's like a lower level, but it's considered the ground floor since it really isn't like a basement, like really, really underground, because you can go in on the lower level. And basically we addressed the concerns. The hours of operation were amended to be more amenable. Again, this is a commercial district right by NYU. This is a wine and beer license of no controversy. The applicant has no disciplinary history with any state agency. And, he wanted to open a wine and beer in this area because this is a college town. Beer is big. And I think our applicant has really, come to the table and been more amenable with the hours. Obviously, we don't want to we're starting, so we're willing to start at earlier hours if the community board so accepts it. And we hope the application is acceptable in the present form.
Thank you. I think one of the things that we had asked for, if you were willing to provide it, but we didn't see it, was a lease to show that there wasn't, because just for everyone's understanding, the original application had two names on it, and the person who's operating poorly with, we believe, selling cannabis illegally and advertising promoted parties, the person who was one of the people who was originally on the application, who no longer is the person that's upstairs. They're using like the very same name, a very similar name. And so we were just trying to feel comfortable that you were no longer affiliated.
The applicant will sign an affidavit to that effect until the landlord gives him the amendment. He hasn't given it to him but what we will do is, before we request any, we're not expecting any special consideration. We have asked the landlord almost 3,000 times. We've asked him every single day. First he had the Jewish holiday, then he was on vacation, and we're still waiting because I'm not dealing one-on-one with the landlord. So I'm not, I didn't prepare the lease, had nothing to do with it. And we can't make that change on our own. We have to wait till he gives it to us. And he said it would be forthcoming. Could be next week, it could be the end of this week, but we don't have, unfortunately, everyone, we have no control over that.
Go ahead.
Mr. Alou?
Yeah, they say it's going to be ready sometime this week. That's what the lawyer for the building said.
Okay, Susan, I see your hand, Susan Stetzer.
Yeah, we've had this kind of problem in the past, I remember, and it can get complicated because you can't go forward. I mean, they can't go to the SLA without a lease. And our understanding right now is that the lease is held by the upstairs business.
No, the lease is held, it's the downstairs business. And what happened was that guy was on this lease and he was taken off because he didn't want to do the right thing. So we don't, he doesn't, and the fact that he even affiliated it with upstairs is very upsetting because Lava Ground is the lower level. So all that created a lot of conflict, and the landlord gave us a little bit of trouble, obviously charging this poor guy again but Ms. Stetzer, I understand that before a resolution can be sent to the community board, I think, is this the final meeting, or does it go to your full board? I'm not sure about the procedure here, but if that's the case, we we will, if I have to personally go to the landlord's building, I will try to get that to you before Friday at latest Monday. But I will insist, or, you know, what we can do is we'll withdraw and come back next month. But the liquor authority essentially just wants to see at least the applicant's name on the lease. They want a show of possession. They've amended the laws, and now they're not going to scrutinize leases. You know, but the applicant is willing to give you an affidavit in lieu of that. And then as soon as the lease is available, we will be forthcoming with it. But, you know, it's like I'm working against the clock with these landlords. It's craziness.
Susan, what would you suggest?
Well, the time this happened before, it was like it was a similar situation. Someone had a lease, someone else was supposed to get it. They never got it. They ended up never getting the license. And, you know, on one hand, they do not need the lease to come to us, but it's, I don't know, maybe if they would send a copy of the lease or say that they have a lease by the full board.
But you mean we would pass a resolution now, like assuming that they'll have the lease by full board, and if they don't, then what? We would
or put something in the resolution, assuming that, you know, the lease is that there is a lease by the full board vote. Otherwise,
what date is that? If I may ask the members of the board, what date is that?
Next Tuesday,
the 27th.
Okay. Okay, Alu, you're just gonna have to go to just stand there and insist, because, you know, we've been insisting for quite a bit now. You're just gonna have to, you know.
Yeah, I believe we can get it by Friday, before Friday, because they said, the lawyer said this week, he was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Susan, you mean like say, whereas like this, like, do you think we should put therefore be it resolved, like therefore be it further resolved, or put a whereas clause in?
You could do that, or you could just change the vote at the full board.
Okay. That's what I was thinking might be easier, is just like, if they don't have the lease by the full board, then we would, I mean, this is assuming we pass the resolution, obviously, of a, you know, then do something at the full board meeting.
Right.
Okay, Jeanette, I see your hand.
I was just wondering, am I the only one who doesn't quite care like that? I don't know, like, I don't actually see it as that big of an issue.
What specifically?
The lease, I'm still speaking, the lease situation. Like, I can see that, like, some bad actor tried to use their name. It's just, can we move on from the topic? We get their lease, we don't get their lease. I don't feel like that should be part of the character of the application. I feel like we're spending.
And ultimately, our liquor license won't be granted if we don't show a lease with him on it. So just so you know.
So yeah, so I'm just like, why are we still talking about that?
Okay. Anyone else from the committee? Yeah, I think Jeanette, just to me, it was because of like how we went in confused about this application, and we don't, given what was proposed to happen upstairs, we didn't want that type of thing. We wanted to be clear whether or not that was involved with the downstairs. That was kind of like my thinking, at least. Like, I don't want to accuse this person of something that's unrelated, you know, without having that proof. That's sort of where I'm coming from with, I like having lots of facts. But David, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. It's not focused on whether they have the lease or not. Is there any affiliation with upstairs anymore? Anymore, or you know, is there no affiliation with the neighbor upstore? Goodness, why can't I speak clearly? I want to be convinced that there is no affiliation with the upstairs business, and I'm almost there.
Jeanette, go ahead.
Okay, I guess I'm just saying, like, I think they've said that they're not affiliated. We'll either get the lease or we won't. Can we operate under the presumption that they're not related? And that way we can like tie this out, because I feel like we're spending a lot of time being like, well, they won't they? And then if they end up not getting the lease to us, then, you know, then it's no. But can we just operate under the assumption? And that way we can write it, we can vote on it, and then move on. I'm just trying to expedite.
Okay,
If
but
possible.
assumption or presumption, I mean, I'm not going to assume they're not. I want to be convinced that they're not, because I will vote against it unless I'm convinced.
Well, I
it's
think
not
what I'm
approved.
saying is let's operate under the assumption that we're going to get that lease as they're promising. Let's write the resolution accordingly in whatever mode we need to write it in. I just like don't want to, like, we spent a lot of time last month like debating if the lease, and then I just want to like write it as if we're going to get the lease. And then if we don't get the lease, then we change the,
Okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense. to me.
you know what I
So
mean? Like I would rather move
getting the
on
lease would
past
show
the
to me that they
question.
are not affiliated. If they have a lease which is in their name, that would show to me that they're not affiliated. That's cool.
Okay. Thank you guys for hashing that out. Susan, do you still want to say something, or is your hand up from
Yeah,
before?
first of all, yeah, I'd say first of all, this is also in response to concerns from the bid, who is listening to other business. So it's not just the community board, it's other businesses in the area that are very concerned because it does impact them also. And I will say, the other time when we had a situation like this, it wasn't just that, okay, they're not going to get the license. It took hours and many hours at the SLA to iron out. So I think what you're doing now works, but it does matter.
Thanks, Susan. Okay, so I will say also that Barcade, which is next door, has a 2 a.m. beer wine license. And we approved that recording studio above Barcade. So I personally, I think if we're just gonna operate under the assumption that, you know, as Jeanette suggested, which I think is the right approach here, because otherwise, what are we gonna do? I'm fine with the 2 a.m. personally because of that. You know, the next door neighbor has the same exact thing. It's downstairs. It's on a residential building and there's like another commercial space above it. I don't know if anyone else from the committee has any thoughts about that. No,
I can't.
David, go ahead.
I agree.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Any other flags, committee, before I see if there's anyone from the public to here to speak? Okay. Anyone here from the public to speak on number 2 for St. Mark's Place, please raise your hand. Zoom hand, I should say. It should be under reactions. Okay, I'm not seeing anybody. So I'm just going to share the resolution, committee. You also have this in you have access to it in Google Docs. I'm just including here this information that we had talked about, that they had originally applied with the person who was above them. David, go ahead.
Yeah, so this, I mean, I kind of question whether we need all of these. There's like 5 paragraphs there that talk about the business above, but let's clarify where the one that says, where is the applicant previously applied? Right. There's after Bilal Muhammad, comma, let's fix the clause there somehow. Previously made, who did? Both of them?
Sorry, no, just Bilal Muhammad.
Okay, so who previously, who had, you know, somehow it does not, you know, it
previously
I don't want to
applied for this license, or for these premises, applied for a license for these premises
with a business partner, him, and then period, you know, can Bilal Muhammad, then there's no question, had previously managed. I mean, it's
Okay.
You mentioned his name twice, but then it's no question. Okay, good.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, because otherwise it sort of implies that Mr. Saul was involved in, well, nothing illegal in that paragraph, but in any case, good.
Okay. Thanks, David, for clarifying that. Any other committee members have any flags here? Resolution, just 2 a.m. all days, no outdoor space. No promoted events, no live music.
What is Sweetie Pie crying about? She wants to play.
David, are you talking to Zelda? Zelda's the dog. For
I
everyone who
am.
doesn't know.
Zelda is Sweetie Pie. If you hear me say Sweetie Pie, she's like
I
whining.
agree.
My
She
feet.
is like the sweetest pie. So
Encourage your mother, Sweetie Pie, to play with the dog. Sorry.
okay, I'm gonna stop sharing this and share the stipulations in that case. Hearing no one. Okay, so we've done 2 a.m. Just as we've asked all the applicants, are you actually planning to open at 10 a.m. all days? Because if you have that in your stipulations, it means you must be open at 10 a.m. If you say 4 p.m., you can open at 10 a.m., but you're not required to.
Yes, I think 4 p.m.
Is that better? Okay. You guys want to make sure it's accurate so that you're not operating in violation of your stipulations by accident. Okay, so this is the lower level of St. Mark's Place, wine, beer, cider, bar, tavern, opening no later than 4 p.m. all days and closing by 2 a.m. all days. No outdoor space, closed fixed facade. I'll say it may have DJs curating music at background level only. You'll not seek a change in class without coming back here. You'll not apply for an alteration without coming back here. No pub crawls, no unlimited drink specials, no happy hours, no wait lines. You'll have a staff member responsible for ensuring no loitering, and you'll post the stipulation prominently at your business. Does this all look accurate, Aurelia and Alu?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, anyone from the committee have any flags?
Thank you, members.
Okay, hearing no objections, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and move this to a vote for number 2 for St. Mark's Place. Jeanette Kim.
Yes.
Paul Ciros.
Yes.
David Crane.
Yes.
Amanda Liu.
Yes.
Jesse Beck.
Yes.
Michelle Coopersmith. Yes. Okay, this motion carries. Thanks everyone for your work on this. We'll send you the stipulations tomorrow morning. Please return by Friday.
Thank you, community board members and Ms. Setzer. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. Have a great evening.
night. Thank you.
Can wait before
Thank
she
you,
leaves.
guys.
Is she gone? You'll
No, she's
send,
still here.
send us the lease information by Monday?
Yes, I will. And if
Thank
I
you.
don't, I'll also let you know that unfortunately I could not meet that standard, and then we'll have to reapply next month. It'll be but we will do everything we can to get that to you, the members, by Monday. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
Okay, I know I had mentioned 151 Avenue A. Are the applicants here for 151 Avenue A? El Primo Red Tacos. Craig, are you the applicant for that? No, okay. Okay. I'm gonna do number 11, 309 East 5th Street. Are the applicants here?
Yes.
Thank you for your patience. I know it's been a long night already. Okay. Number 11. And thank you guys for getting us revised petitions on short notice. We appreciate you working with us on that. Let me drop the questionnaire in the chat. Okay. Number 11, 309 East 5th Street, my old block. Okay, so it's an application for a full on-premises liquor license at 309 East 5th between 1st and 2nd Avenue. It's a Thai restaurant with a full kitchen serving food during all hours of operation, which would be 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. all days. This location was most recently Jiang Diner. They had a wine beer license. Before that, it was Soba Co, where I spent many a pretty penny. There are no complaints at this location. 15 residents who live within 2 blocks signed a petition. Anything I missed there? Seems pretty straightforward applicant.
No, everything is in there.
Great. Any questions from the committee about this one? It's a Thai restaurant closed early. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen with the resolution. Anyone here from the community to speak on this item, number 11309 East 5th Street, please raise your Zoom hand. Oh, Carol, are you here for this one? I just lost you. Carol, are you here for this one, 309 East 5th? You can unmute if you're here for this one.
Yes, I am.
Go ahead.
I have a problem with a full liquor license. Previously, that spot only had beer and wine. And a full liquor license to me, another full liquor license in the East Village to me is a problem. Heaven forbid this restaurant, restaurant does not succeed and some bro bar wants to move in. There's a liquor license right there for them. And the other and I have a question. So besides that, I have a question. Where is the patio that they are going to be serving? Is it in the front or in the rear?
It's gonna be in the front.
There's not, so by patio, do you mean tables and chairs on the street or do you mean an outdoor kiosk?
It's gonna be the outdoor.
But outdoor, a dining shed or outdoor tables?
Which means, are you gonna be on the sidewalk or are you gonna be on the curbside?
Table.
On the sidewalk?
Yes.
Okay.
There's not much room. How many tables do you think you put there? 4?
Unfortunately, Carol, that's not really something that we adjudicate here. That's up to DOT. So we either say yes or no. So if you, I don't know if you.
Yeah, as long as it's not a kiosk, you know, an outdoor kiosk, I don't have a problem with that, but I do have a problem with the full liquor license.
Okay, thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
Okay, the next hand I see is Stuart. Stuart, go ahead.
Hi, Stuart Zamsky from the East 5th Street Block Association, and I would agree with Carol. Full liquor license on a side street for a restaurant seems unusual. And the Block Association, we were talking with their representative and said we would be glad to entertain a full liquor license in the future after the restaurant kind of proved themselves to be a good neighbor. But we never heard back from them on that. We were hoping that maybe they would consider a beer and wine, which we consider to be more of a norm on like a smaller residential street. And we would also love to see in the stipulations that we didn't see any diagrams as to their outdoor dining or their patio in their application or in the questionnaire. So if it is only on the sidewalk, we would like to have it memorialized in the stipulations if possible.
Thanks, Stuart. Anyone else here to speak on this item, 309 East 5th Street? Please raise your Zoom hand.
So.
Okay, I'm not seeing any other hands. Anyone from the committee have any problems with this application or any other questions?
I'm like ready to vote on this. It's a restaurant. It's closing before midnight. I'm not sure I have any issues with this whatsoever. Should I call a straw poll? Does anyone feel
Sure.
otherwise?
Anyone from the committee have a problem with this?
No, I agree with Jeanette.
Thanks, Jesse.
Okay, I'll move the resolution into question. Is that what I do?
Yeah, I'll call the question.
Yeah, can I call this resolution to question?
Any objections? Okay, I'm gonna share the stipulations. Okay. So application for a Thai restaurant, 309 East Fifth Street for a full on-premises liquor license, opening no later than 11 a.m. and closing by 11 p.m. Sunita, I just want to make sure you're going to open at 11 a.m. every day. That's your intent?
Yes.
Okay. If they use open restaurants, they'll close at 10 p.m. No speakers or TV monitors. Close any front or rear facade doors at 10 p.m. No G days, no live music, no promoted events, no event with a cover fee, no scheduled performances. Ambient recorded background music only. They'll not apply for an alteration without coming back here. No pub crawls, no boozy brunches. If they have a happy hour, it must end by 7. No wait lines. Have a staff person responsible for ensuring no loitering. Does that all look right, Anita?
Yes.
Okay, great. Any flags from the committee? Okay.
I'm good.
Exception. Thanks, Paul. Okay, not hearing any objections, so I'm gonna move this into a vote. 309 East Fifth Street. Jeanette Kim,
Yes.
Paul Ciros,
Yes.
Amanda Lou,
Yes.
Jesse Beck.
Yes.
Where is everyone? He disappeared off my screen. I already called Jeanette. David Crane.
Yes.
Michelle Cooper Smith, yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you for everyone who came tonight. We'll send you the stipulations tomorrow morning. The motion has carried.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Have a good night. Okay. Is the applicant for number 7 Pylos 128 East 7th Street here? Oh, Peter?
Yes,
Okay.
hello there. Yes, Peter Marinas, the representative, and with me is Christos Valdzoglu, who is a principal and also the GM.
Okay, great. Let me just drop the application in the chat, or sorry, the questionnaire in the chat so everyone can see it. Okay. So I'm gonna hit the highlights here. This is an application for an upgrade for Pylos at 128 East 7th Street between First Avenue and Avenue A. This location has been licensed with a beer wine license since 2003. Quiet neighborhood restaurant, no problems, known to the community board. 64 residents who live within 2 blocks signed a petition in favor. Open, I believe they're keeping their same hours that they have now, just closing by 12 a.m. Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday, and closing by 1 a.m. Friday and Saturday. No outdoor space, ambient recorded music only. Certificate of occupancy of 70 people, full kitchen, Greek food, ambient background music only. Anything I missed there, Peter or Christos?
No, you covered everything. And clients, this is the 20th year of operation. We're not changing our method of operation. We don't have a bar. We're not adding wine. We're not making any changes. It's just our customers are asking for some aperitifs, some after dinner drinks, some pre-dinner drinks, and we'd like to accommodate them.
Great.
So-
Okay. Was that Paul? Go ahead, Paul.
Best Greek restaurant in the city. And about
Whoa.
trust me. Yeah. Exactly.
That is such a bold statement.
Yeah, as an owner of a Greek
Wow.
restaurant, my goodness. Okay, wow. All right.
We're allowed to advertise for businesses here, Paul.
Better.
And I will also say that my boyfriend's window overlooked Pylos for like 3 years, and it was never an issue. So can attest it was not a problem personally.
Is it better than the place up in Rockefeller Center?
Which place in Rock Center?
I forget.
That's our
either.
next trip. We're just gonna do an SLA committee Greek
Close,
food tour.
Not even close.
Okay, any people here from the public to speak on this item, number 7, 128 East 7th Street? please raise your Zoom hand. Seeing no hands, I'm gonna share this draft resolution that the committee should have seen already. As I said, the applicant said 20 years in business, asking for an upgrade, closing by 12 a.m. Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday, 1 a.m. Friday and Saturday, no outdoor space, ambient recorded background music only, no problems known to the community board. Any flags, committee? Okay. Hearing no no edits here, I'm going to stop sharing and I will quickly share the stipulation so we can go through that. Make sure everything's accurate. Okay, as we said, upgrade to a liquor, wine, and beer and cider license 128 East 7th Street for Pylos. Closing by 12 a.m. Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Closing by 1 a.m. Friday and Saturdays. No outdoor space. Close the rear facade doors by 10 p.m. No DJs, no live music, no promoted events, no event with the cover fee, no scheduled performances, ambient recorded background music only. They'll not seek an alteration without coming to us. No happy hours, no limited drink specials, no wait lines, and we'll have a staff person responsible for ensuring no loitering. Does that sound right?
Yes, everything looks good. Thank you so much.
Great. Any flags, committee? Okay. Hearing no inputs or objections, I'm going to move this to a vote. Number 7, Pylos, upgrade to a full on premises. Jeanette Kim.
Yes.
David Crane.
Yes.
Paul
Yes.
Ciros.
Yes.
Jesse Beck.
Yes.
Amanda Liu.
Yes.
Michelle Cooper Smith. Yes. Okay, this motion carries. We will send you guys your stipulations tomorrow morning. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Just a reminder that anyone, if you're here for 210 Avenue A, we're not going to be hearing public input on that. So I'm actually going to wait to this probably towards the end to do that one. Both number 9, 151 Avenue A, and number 10, 210 Avenue A, because, well, actually, is there anyone here for 151 Avenue A to speak on it? Like from the public? Raise your Zoom hand if you're here to speak about. Craig, that's what you're here for. Feel free to unmute yourself.
Yes, I'm here to
Okay.
speak against 151 Avenue A permit.
Okay, so let's do that one next, and then we'll do 3rd Avenue, Sugar Mouse, excuse me, and then we'll do 210 Avenue A last. So Craig, let me just run through the highlights of this, and then I'll call on you to speak, okay?
Okay.
Sorry, I totally forgot that you had someone here to speak on that item. Okay. And just one more time, is the applicant for 151 Avenue A here before I launch into this? Okay. So just for everyone's context, we were told by the applicant for this location that they would not be participating in the community board process. So I will read, it's a application for 151 Avenue A, beer and wine. They're asking to use the backyard. I think they're asking to 2 a.m. But what I'm going to suggest to the committee, if they're amenable to it, is that we do a straight denial on this, asking the SLA not to hear the application at all until the applicant comes to the community board. I don't know if Susan wants to weigh on this, but the SLA, I don't know if this happened, I don't think this happened since I've been chair, but if there's ever been a circumstance where there isn't a community board application or resolution or input attached to an application, that applicant will basically be asked like what happened, what happened, and the SLA will make them come back to the community board anyway. So we can't force them to do it, but from the community board's perspective, like we want to obviously have the chance to give input on it. And so I will suggest to the committee that we deny this, not on the merits of the application, but on the fact that they are refusing to show. But I know that the community had organized heavily around this. And so Craig, if you wanted to go ahead and speak on this, go ahead, please.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. My name's Craig Hensela, and I've lived at 153 Avenue A for more than 20 years, and I've lived in the East Village for 25 years. Tonight, I am voicing some of the serious concerns of the 34 people and organizations who have written letters and the 134 people who have signed the petition opposing the beer and wine license as proposed for El Primo Red Tacos. 111 of the petition signatures to date are from residents within a 2-block radius of the site. Many residents from our community are strongly opposed to any commercial businesses moving into the rear gardens around our homes. This would be a huge invasion of our peace and quiet and privacy. If granted a permit for rear garden dining, noise from that centrally located back patio at 151 Avenue A would spill over into rear garden areas bordered by 18 residential buildings on East 9th, East 10th Streets and Avenue A, impacting many residents with constant noise and disturbance. Some residential units are within 5 feet of the location in question, and the sound really reverberates and carries long distances in the rear garden area, which is essentially a canyon surrounded by high brick walls and hard surfaces. It's well known that there's an extensive history of noise complaints from rear garden dining in the Community Board 3 district, and this location is particularly problematic for many reasons. St. Nicholas Church, which has rear facades facing the same shared garden area, is opposed to the rear garden dining, as is the 9th Street A1 Block Association. Many local residents consider the applicant's avoidance of the community board process to be an underhanded act designed to compromise the livability of our neighborhood without accountability while seeking higher profits for the owner of the taco stand. Their attempt to skirt the community feedback process shows a complete lack of interest in the concerns of our community and is a sign that they would likely be disrespectful and irresponsible neighbors. We would also like to note that this is the second time the applicant has backed out of a committee meeting at the last minute, inconveniencing many residents who rearranged their schedules to speak in opposition to the permit request. We respectfully ask the committee to make the resolution that the SLA not approve the application before the applicant appears before the community board. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Craig, and thank you for your patience tonight. It's been a long one. So committee, let me just share the resolution that I drafted here, which it's very simple, just asking the SLA to not hear this application before it comes to the community board. Susan, I don't know if you wanted to say anything about the thinking behind this strategically.
Sure. So legally, nobody has to come to the community board. They only have to notify us. But we are obligated to consult with the SLA, which we can't really do if they don't come to us. The SLA is always very sympathetic about applicants coming to us first. And occasionally they will get an application for one reason or another where they don't have a resolution. And the SLA will always reach out to us because they don't hear applications without it coming to the community board. So it's pretty sort of in your face, the fact that we were told we will not come to you very blatantly was kind of in your face, and we're just informing the SLA of what they're doing. I don't think that the SLA will be sympathetic to the applicant at all.
Exactly. Thank you, Susan, for explaining that in better detail than I did. Go ahead, David.
I'm happy to go with this resolution. Is it really strong enough? I mean, there is a one paragraph in the other draft about expressing, we've heard concerns from local residents that maybe it would make it a little stronger. We would have the opportunity to discuss issues brought forth by 21 emails from local residents, et cetera. That one that you just.
Do you want to add that paragraph? Susan, do you think, I think there's probably no harm in doing that, right?
I'd like
I
to
don't think
discuss.
there's any harm. I don't think it's necessary, but I don't think there's any harm.
Craig, can you just remind me of the numbers?
I believe it's 31 letters, emails, and 134 signatures on our petition. And 111 of the signatures are from a 2-block radius of the restaurant site.
Okay, so I'm gonna put, that's the Thank you, Craig.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Does
just
that
feel
look good?
this, yeah, to me that fleshes out like why they must come to the community board. I'm sure that they would have gone with the I'm sure the original resolution would do it, but I'd like us to do this.
Sure. Any other committee members?
As long as everyone agrees there's no downside to it.
I don't think that there's any downside to it. Okay, any other committee members have any amendments to this? Okay. No stipulations, obviously, so I'm just gonna move this into a vote. So voting yes is saying yes to denying this. David Crane.
Sorry.
Oh, no, I'm asking, we're voting.
Oh, my head is still up. Yes.
Paul Ciros,
Yes.
Amanda Liu,
Yes.
Jesse Beck,
Yes.
Jeanette Kim,
Yes.
Michelle Cooper Smith. Yes. Okay, so this motion carries. We will be sending this resolution to the SLA, asking them not to hear the application. Thank you, Craig, for your time, and thank your neighbors too for organizing. I know it takes a lot of work.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good night. Okay. Okay, we're gonna do number 6. Sugar Mouse, is the applicant here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. Let me just drop the questionnaire in the chat. And then I'll read some highlights from the application. Okay. So this is an application for Sugar Mouse. The address on the agenda and on the original applications, we got an updated questionnaire actually was for East 10th Street, but the applicant is moving the entrance to 4753 3rd Avenue. It's a corner building. So that's at East 10th Street. So just committee for context, this is the same operator as has Sour Mouse on Delancey Street. We actually heard them for an upgrade last summer during one of our very few in-person meetings in July 2021. So it's a similar operation, a cellar level establishment with a pending certificate of occupancy. It's a gaming hall, so billiards, foosball, shuffleboard, ping pong. That will also have 20 tables and 80 seats with, Aaron, is this accurate? 10 stand-up bars with 30 seats?
So I think
Stand-up bars are where you can buy alcohol from.
oh no, just one bar there. Yes.
Okay, with how many seats?
I guess I was thinking bar table, and there must have been a miscommunication.
No. How many seats does the bar have?
15.
Okay. Serving pizza and fried snacks in a full kitchen during all hours of operation. The applicant is asking for 1 a.m. closing Sunday to Wednesday, 2 a.m. Thursday, and 3 a.m. Friday and Saturday. This is in a new building, so it's never previously been licensed. It's new, it's zoned commercial. And as I said, the applicant has decided to move the entrance to 3rd Avenue. There are 17 full on premises liquor licenses within 500 feet. As I noted, this applicant runs a similar operation at Sour Mouse, that's at 110 Delancey, just off of Essex Street, which was approved for a wine beer license in July 2018, and we approved an upgrade in August 2021. They are open till they open at 12 p.m. all days and close at 4 a.m. all days. No outdoor space. The applicant's operation on Delancey has no 301 complaints and is not known as an issue to the community board. The applicant we were told the applicant opens early to accommodate kids after school. We got a letter from the 10th Street and Stuyvesant Street Block Association, who also submitted a petition with more than 100 signatures from nearby residents in opposition. And we received 30 emails from residents against the application. Some of these letters noted that this would be a nightclub, which is, I think, inaccurate. There were 61 residents who live within 2 blocks of the application, including 28 residents who live in that building, who signed a petition in favor. They are going to have ambient background level music recorded and live. This is very similar to the stipulation that we did for Sour Mouse. They have performances, live music, stand-up, music jam sessions, jazz, open mic nights, karaoke is. Anything I missed there, Aaron, that you want to add?
No, I think you've covered a lot. Maybe I can just add a little bit to it.
Go ahead.
A lot of people ask us what is a community game hall? So we're open 7 days a week, and we are family friendly, right? So we have high school students, family with kids who come to us. The concept is really to allow people to take a break from their screens, right? So we want people to engage each other in pool, ping pong, and foosball, shuffleboard, and it's really I think that in this day and age, a lot of times we're just staring at a screen, and the concept works. A lot of families enjoy, coming because, everyone puts their phones down. No one is, putting their focus on something else. We do work with a large community of artists. We do a lot of art shows. We do art gatherings, jazz open mics, comedy shows. We don't charge a cover for our stuff. So I used to own a business prior to this called Black Hat, and it was an espresso bar. We sold beer and wine at night, and it was highly received by the community. We were doing 50 comedy shows and mics every month, and it was just always free. It was something, and that's really where the concept came out of. I think that we are providing a healthy alternative to all the binge drinking that is out there. We're not a watering hole. It's when people come out at night and they don't want to necessarily drink, we provide games that allow people to do that. What else? So I'm a pretty hands-on operator. I'm there quite often. I do have a full-time job at the university. Ever since I got my tenure there in 2018, I've been able to spend a lot more time in businesses, and so I started first the cafe, sold in 2019, and then we opened up Sour Mouse. I think I have a pretty great track record in terms of doing things for the community. I have grants from the city, from the Attorney General, and the work that I do for the city, everything is pro bono. So yeah, I hope that the community board can approve this.
Thanks, Aaron. Do any of the committee members have any questions for Aaron? Susan, go ahead.
Yeah, 2 things. Would you say why you moved why you changed the address, and also the pro bono work that you do for the city? Does any of it take place at some of your businesses? I don't know what the pro bono work is.
Sure. So to answer your question, we met with local residents. We did a meet and greet twice, and also during other occasions when we're collecting signatures, there was a lot of opposition, and a lot of residents said, they would be much more comfortable if the entrance wasn't on a semi-residential block, so on 10th Street. So since then, we've sat down with the landlord and the architects. We said that we wouldn't take the space unless they move our entrance to the middle of the street of 3rd Avenue. So it's not even near the corner anymore. It's actually right next to TD Bank. They are going to put in a 12-foot entrance there in the middle of 3rd Avenue, right in the middle of the street, and they will close the entrance on 10th Street. And we're trying to comply and be neighborly. This is something that was expressed by a lot of residents. And your second question, I genuinely have an affinity for doing community work. Going after grants is a big thing, and to be awarded grants from the Attorney General, from the Mayor's office, I think it says a lot about who I am, my character. I have commendations from the Mayor's office. I have commendations from world-renowned criminologists on my crime prevention work with the city. And even at Sour Mouse, we continue to work with a whole variety of nonprofits, such as Meals for Unity. We work with Asian Film Festival. We sponsor mentorship programs, Unlock Your Potential, Beat Their Streets. So we do a lot of things for the community, and I think it is recognized.
Thanks, Aaron. Anyone from the committee? Jeanette, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the table bar question, I believe in the questionnaire, it says a stand-up bar is any bar counter with seating or not where you can order, pay for, and receive alcohol. So like by that logic, wouldn't a high table where you get served alcohol, you know what I mean? I think that might have been, I don't know. I read it differently.
I was confused by that. I thought it was a high table. And
I don't think we've ever counted it that way, but Susan, I think it's where you can actually just order and be served, right? It's not like
Yes,
a
high
waiter
table is not a bar.
Yeah.
in that case, just one bar.
Yeah, and Jeanette, just like it's for understanding like what type of an establishment.
Of course. I was just pointing out the language and why it might
the
have been.
confusion in the questionnaire. Yes, thank
That's
you.
how I read it. Yeah.
Anyone else from the committee have any questions? Okay. Please raise your hand if you're here from the community to speak on this item. Again, this is number 64753 3rd Avenue. I'm going to limit this to 1 minute per person, just because of how many people there are, and it's already 8:45. So I'll recognize you in the order that I see you, but remember 1 minute per person. Okay, the first hand I see is Maribeth. Go ahead.
Yes, hi, I'm here. I reside at 124 East 10th, down the block. Attended Mr. Ho's meet and greet the other weekend. Interesting that he's decided to move the entrance around the corner. Appreciated, but I don't believe it will truly sufficiently mitigate the negative impact on our block, considering that while people are waiting to get in, going around the corner to get in, I'm not sure who I'm seeing on the screen here. Are you able to hear me still? Okay. Yeah, so what I'd like to do for a moment, since I have very little time, is point out this and ask, this is very old school. Ask Aaron Ho to clarify what this is. What I can tell you it is a screenshot of a TikTok post that I pulled off of the Sour Mouse TikTok today. It shows a bartender pouring what appears to be liquor into the mouth of an individual whose head is resting, on a pool table at his affiliated club, Sour Mouse. I don't know who this individual is. Again, it's directly off of his TikTok, so that when Mr. Khao presents us with a series of euphemistic platitudes about his outreach to the community, getting people off the phone, etc. I am just confused how that meshes with this photograph, which is binge drinking, which does exemplify precisely the crowd that will
wrap it up, please.
I'm sorry?
Could you wrap it up, please?
Yes, it is completely contrary to the character, the nature of the block, and Mr. Khao's location at Sour Mouse on Delancey Street, in my opinion, is a far more appropriate location for the kind of activities he proposes to carry out. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The next hand I see is Matt's iPad. Matt, go ahead.
Hi, I was approved, or my business Superiority Burger was approved for a liquor license, and I'm a musician. I'm an active member of nightlife, so I want to get that out of the way. And I guess I'd like to ask Mr. Khao why he sponsors bar crawls at Sour Mouse. I noticed that there were two. There's there's one for a Halloween bar crawl, and there's an ugly sweater bar crawl. I also noticed that when I just looked at his Instagram that there's pictures of heavy partying going on. There's singles nights advertised. There's people blowing off people using what appear to be Roman candles downstairs. There's actually an image of like a male stripper and two women sort of judging him. This is clearly a bro bar. It seems like his model is sort of a WeWork for partying. And I'm sort of surprised that anybody that this isn't more obvious. It also seems like his plan is to bring up his same crowd to our block.
Matt, if you wouldn't mind wrapping up, that'd be great.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess those are my two questions. Why do you sponsor bar crawls?
Aaron, do you want to just answer that? Because actually you're not allowed to have bar crawls. So is that something that you've had?
So this was last Christmas with the sweater. I'll need to talk to I'll have to talk to my manager about that and see what happened, whether we were sponsoring an event.
Okay, the next hand I see is Junie I. Junie, go ahead.
We are a historic and mostly residential block, and we already have rodent issues, cockroach issues from other restaurants that are right around the corner from us, which is like the Smith and Ruby's. And you're planning on serving alcohol and food at this venue, which will attract even more rodents, which are unnecessary, as well as just these bro people that everyone else is talking about. A family-friendly establishment, why do you even need a liquor license? And if you want to open a bro bar, why not just open up across it at 150 11th Street or 3rd Avenue, whatever that is, which is where the Ainsley used to be, where they already have a liquor license. This building had a liquor license. This building was historically a medical building and a residential building and a commercial bank building. There's never been a license here. So I understand why you need to open it on this location when there are several other locations that you choose.
Okay,
so that's my sense.
Okay, the next hand I see is James Souse. James, go ahead.
James, unmute.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
I said my battery's about going here. Yes, I was part of that community group that met on September 3rd, as Mayor Beth, I believe, mentioned. And it seemed very much that it was a marketing ploy for him to get our feedback and then kind of tailor make his replies more socially acceptable. Again, just to reiterate what some of my other neighbors have said, I'm at 105 East 10th Street. I've lived on this block for approximately 26 years. Again, it seems very disingenuous to promote it as a family-friendly kind of atmosphere, where in reality it's anything but. his other kind of facility that he has on Delancey Street. Delancey Street is six lanes, you know, three lanes east and 3 lanes west. It's a huge block. This block is historically not the venue for this kind of thing. We have the St. Mark's Church historically has poetry reading, dancing, church. We also have a coffee shop on the corner. We had a bank at one point before I guess it went out of business, and we have a dry cleaning area
Okay,
on
James,
the other
if you could
corner.
wrap it up, that'd be great.
And so I just thank you for listening and for your time. And I please adamantly, we need quality of life in the city more than ever before. And like a virus, I'm looking for you to give us some immunity to this sort of thing. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, the next hand I see is Monica's iPad. Monica. You just have to unmute.
Monica. Unmute. Unmute.
Monica, unmute.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the next hand I see. Mary. Oh, Monica, go ahead. Go ahead.
Hi, sorry. Hi, whether the entrance is on East 10th Street or on 3rd Avenue, it is an unacceptable usage. The space that he is renting is 5,000 square feet. That is considerably larger than any of the bars in the neighborhood, and this will be a bar. And it's in a building that has never, ever had a license. Please look at his menu. He's looking to sell champagne. His most expensive bottle is $398, I believe. And the food that will be served that's on the available menu is pizza. This is not the sort of place that we should have on 10th Street or on 3rd Avenue. 3rd Avenue is already overrun by bars. The rat problem on this block is beyond. Yeah, so
that'd be great.
Okay, what's that?
If you could wrap it up, please.
Okay, I think I'm done. I think you've heard that nobody is happy about Aaron becoming a neighbor, and it is unacceptable here in this location. Thank you.
Okay, Mary Fran, that's the next hand I see.
My name is Mary Fran Loftus, and my windows overlook 3rd Avenue and 10th Street, and I have lived in CB3 for over 40 years. I am opposed to granting a full liquor license to Sugar Mouse LLC at 101 East 10th Street and have submitted a detailed explanation via email. My opposition is as follows. 1, this is a previously unlicensed location in an area already oversaturated with liquor licenses. 2, the proposed operation does not provide any new community benefit. 3, quality of life issues in this neighborhood would be negatively impacted by increased noise, traffic, and garbage. And 4, more than 1,100 underage college students live within 500 feet of this location. I respectfully ask that the committee deny this liquor license application, and thank you to the members of the committee for your conscientious work.
Thank you, Mary Fran. Right in underneath a minute. I appreciate that. The next hand I see is Tasso. Tasso, go ahead.
Yes, hi. My name is Tasso. We're a family of 4. I have 2 girls, Athena and Martha. They're 2 and 4. We just renovated the townhouse right across the establishment, 104 East 10th. We spent a lot of money, much more than the house is worth, because we felt this would make justice to the block and the character. In fact, we built less than what the landmarks allowed because we felt it was out of character with the block to build an extension on top of the townhouse. This is all context. I'm just gonna say that my daughter's bedroom is on the 2nd floor overlooking this establishment. Our own bedroom is on the 3rd floor overlooking the establishment on 10th Street. The biggest, this is a wonderful block, wonderful community, wonderful people. We're so excited to grow our family there. The biggest problem is drunk young people stumbling around. It's a noise concern. I'm worried my daughters will not be able to sleep. It's a safety concern, right? Drunk people do all kinds of stupid things. We were all young one time. We remember what alcohol made us do. It was all stupid things. And, you know, we're gonna have, you know, it's right across our house, and it's gonna be a huge issue for our family. You know, if it was truly a family establishment, it wouldn't need the liquor license, you know, but that's not what we're here for. So very concerned, and just wanted to bring, you know, our voice into this community meeting, and I hope the committee will decide to do the right thing for the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next hand I see is Adam. Adam, go ahead.
Thank you. I'll try to be as brief as I can. First of all, there is no commercial space on 10th Street. The entrance from the bank, when the bank was opened, was always on 3rd Avenue. So moving the entrance to 3rd Avenue is not a concession. That's where the entrance to the bank always was. On the south side of the street, on from 10th Street and 3rd Avenue to Stuyvesant Street, there are no commercial spaces. In terms of what one of the other residents brought up, Aaron, you have pub crawls advertised not only for Halloween and Christmas, but even St. Patty's Day of 2023. It's on pubcrawls.com. So I'm not sure what previous infractions you made with your liquor license down Sour Mouse, but it's just not the appropriate venue. And in terms of your point about keeping people off screens, I mean, drinking games is a good way to do that. It's just not appropriate for a residential block. I have a 6 and a 3-year-old. I've lived on the block for over 21 years. It's just not an appropriate venue. Even if people enter the space on 3rd Avenue, they're going to loiter on 10th Street, smoke, because no smoking is allowed in bars. And that's where they're going to hail their Ubers. So I would request that the board deny permission to go forward with the liquor license.
Thanks, Adam. Okay, the next hand I see is John Center. John, go ahead.
I'm John Center. For 29 years, I've lived at 115 East 9th Street, a residential building with 260 apartments. Many are 300 feet or less from the applicant's location and overlook 3rd Avenue and 10th Street. My neighbors include 50 children. 152 of our residents signed a petition opposing Sugar Mouse's full OP liquor license application at 101 East 10th Street. This was not mentioned in the chair's introduction. Legitimate, reasonable grounds to deny it include this application is for a previously unlicensed location in an area oversaturated with liquor licenses. SLA salt maps show that residents live it. The proposed operation does not provide any new community benefit. The applicant's activities already are available nearby. Neighborhood quality of life issues, including noise and traffic, would be worsened by the late night closing hours. The needs of our building's children, parents, and hundreds of residents matter. Please consider them in your decision-making. Deny Sugar Mouse's OP license application. And finally, Chair, please have the applicant confirm exactly which mayor and which state he's been working with, because I believe that it's New Jersey and not New York. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. The next hand I see is Michael Lonergan.
Hi, only very quickly to pile on with everyone. I'm very much opposed to this liquor license in our neighborhood. I live at 115 East 9th Street. That is saturated with liquor license. In the application, there are 36 liquor licenses within 750 feet. It just seems excessive at this point. And to go back to a previous comment that it's about the quality of life, the noise in general from 3rd Avenue, from the Smith, Webster Hall, all of those places is becoming untenable at this point. And to add another place, which now terrifies me even more, hearing what the character of this applicant is. It really is just an appalling quality of life issue that I'm really terrified. That's it.
Thank you. The next hand I see is Ellen Miller.
Yes, hi, thank you. I'm Ellen Miller, representing 88 East 10th Street, a small family-owned building directly across from an ice cream parlor that closes quite early, next door to a brand new restaurant. We're extremely concerned about a 3 a.m. establishment that will return us to nights of messy sidewalks and loitering. So thank you very much. I speak in absolute opposition to this license. Thank you.
Thank you. The next hand I see is Judy. Judy S.
Hi, can you guys see and hear me?
Go ahead. Yep.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, board, for hosting this. My name is Judy Sipowicz. I'm a resident of 121 East 10th Street since 1991. I'm president of the board at 121. That's between 2nd and 3rd Avenue. And I'm speaking tonight on behalf of the board, residents, shareholders in that building, and many, many unnamed neighbors who could not, for many reasons, be present this evening. We urge you to vote no on this application. The applicant has been distributing marketing materials, positioning himself as a philanthropist, pillar of the community, but this is a revenue-generating venture, and its success is based on a party atmosphere. This is not an after-school program. This is not Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts, and it's not a community settlement house where people come to spend time and get to know one another. This is a very residential, quiet area. We have challenges on both sides of avenues. The building has landmark, the streets and buildings have landmark status, so they're low. There are many stoops for sitting when you want to come up for air from a basement bar. And we submit that this application is not in support of a cultural or historic venture. This is foosball. This is, you saw the pictures. This is pub crawls. This is pouring tequila into people's mouths. We have a person.
Judy, if you could wrap it up, that'd be great.
Sorry,
please.
applicant asking for applicant unable to answer questions about certain pub crawls. We think that beer and ping pong will be beer pong. We urge you to vote no, and we thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry if I butchered the next person's name, Nicolaio. Go ahead, you get unmute. You have to unmute, sir.
Sorry, Nikolai Rusov.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question for you actually, which is, since I want to know, A, what guarantees we have that the entrance has been shifted permanently and they can't be moved back to 10th Street. And second, given that this was kind of dropped on everybody unexpectedly, why isn't the applicant being asked to reapply so people have a chance to reevaluate what's going on? Because everybody here, everybody in this community is someone who understood a different kind of project in terms of the location, which was about 100 feet in from the corner of 10th Street. So, and I also would like to add that as everybody else has pointed out up to this point, there's been a certain kind of disingenuousness in terms of how this has been presented. First, in pretending that it's been geared towards families in the community, and now this sudden kind of shift of the address. So is there some kind of a process now where you ask him to start from scratch? Or are there some kind of guarantees?
No.
No, there are no guarantees that he can't move the entrance.
Oh, no. We could stipulate that the entrance can only be on 3rd Avenue, but no, we cannot force him to restart, if that makes sense.
Okay, so you just have to reject him then?
No, we don't have to reject him. We can do whatever we can do as a
but I
committee.
mean, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, having said that, then I think that given the history of a block that for 40 years has been kind of fighting this kind of incremental encroachment on by NYU and people that feed off of NYU, right? That's been going on for decades. I think that this is the kind of proposal that should be, I would say no.
Okay, thank you. The next hand I see is Wendy Rubin. Wendy, go ahead.
Hang on, please. Sorry. I'm actually at the airport and I don't know how to do the video.
You're fine. Go ahead. Well, you just muted yourself.
Sorry about that. So it looks like I'm going to be one of the lone people that is for Sugar Mouse, and I just wanted to speak on Aaron's behalf. I know Aaron Ho because he used to own the Black Cat on the Lower East Side, and I would go there and work. And the reason I know him is because he came over and he introduced himself to me as the owner of the establishment and wanted to make sure that I was happy. And that was probably 6 or 7 years ago now. So Aaron's character is impeccable. He's a great owner operator and he cares about the community. I've been in the East Village since 1985, and post COVID, we are the reason that a lot of us live in New York is because it's a vibrant city, and it has city things. It has late night bars, it has restaurants, it has all these great things. And after COVID, a lot of these small businesses have gone away. Veselka's not open 24 hours. It's like our whole tenor is changing. And I personally like Manhattan. You know, I like the East Village. It's vibrant and alive with places to go and stuff to do at night. And sure, does it drive me a little crazy sometimes with the kids in the East Village? It absolutely does. Sorry, I'm at the airport. It absolutely
Wendy, if you could
does.
wrap it up, that'd be great, please.
I'm done. So thank you all. Have a great night.
Thank you, Wendy. Okay, the next hand I see is, I don't know the name, it's Galaxy A325G.
Marilyn Appleberg, president of the 10th and Stuyvesant Streets Block Association.
Go
Can
ahead.
you hear me?
Yep.
If you all read my letter, you would know that we have been around for 53 years, and we've been on the side of the angels for every battle that this community has fought. So I can drape myself in all sorts of awards and platitudes about how wonderful we are for this community. But we met Aaron Khao at a meeting that was noon on the Saturday of Labor Day weekend. And one of the first things he told us was that he was unaware that an NYU dormitory was on the street. That is so completely disingenuous as to make my eyebrows raised right away. The other thing is that 101 10th Street is a transient building with short-term rentals, and they have no stake in the community, and they're akin to the NYU dorm. I'm not surprised they would sign a petition in favor. The avenues are so out of control now that if you are not fleet of foot, you will be run down. Can no longer walk my dog after 5 o'clock on 3rd Avenue because it is impossible. It is too loud. It is too, and moving the entrance to 3rd Avenue will turn East 10th Street into the restroom of Sugar Mouse, because he has one security guard, and that's going to be on at the entrance, I assume. But if you're for children and you have games, I don't think you need a liquor license, and you certainly don't need a happy hour to start at 4 p.m. and $396 of Dom Perignon. We represent over 150 people. We are opposed to this club in this location. And when you have live music and serve alcohol, I don't know what else you can call it, but a nightlife venue.
Marilyn, if you could wrap up, that'd be great, please.
I'm wrapping up by saying it is a travesty to add, one more thing. I write guidebooks to New York, and the East Village is known for a place to go to drink. There's no pride in giving a liquor license to a place that has never had one. Thank you. I appreciate your work.
Sorry, my computer froze there for a second. Okay, the next hand I see is William Beecham.
Yes, hi everyone. William Beauchamp. I'm a resident of 115 East 9th Street, and my apartment windows overlook the corner that Sugar Mouse will be in. I just wanted to say I did sign the petition mentioned by John and a number of our neighbors. In the East Village, in our particular area, we have what I would consider to be a very strained quality of life because of the various venues that exist on 3rd Avenue. The side streets tend to be a haven. And when our community and our building read the application for the bar, it became very apparent that the application was really geared toward a party area. It talked about a very large space. It talked about a very large bar. There would be ropes and lines outside that would be managed. And 101 East 10th Street, if you were to look up complaints into 311, gets tons of complaints simply because of the activities that happen with the outdoor spaces on the roof already. So if you combine that with a bar that's going to be on the ground floor, that'll be open till 4 in the morning, and basically have a very large population of people coming in, that will amplify a negative quality of life for us across the street and anybody around us. And of course, the proximity to NYU, which this neighborhood caters, it's a recipe for disaster. So I am encouraging a vote of no, and I thank all of you for your work, and thank you for considering our quality of life and those of us who live in this neighborhood.
Thank you. Okay, the next hand I see is Harold Apple. Harold, go ahead. We can't hear you. Harold, we can't hear you, unfortunately. I'm gonna go to Jennifer Reynolds and then I'll come back to you. Okay, Harold? Jennifer, go ahead.
Hi there, my name's Jennifer Reynolds. I'm a longtime East Village resident. I own an apartment that's 105 feet away, but I'm also a businesswoman and I manage a store for a fashion brand that's currently valued at 2.1 billion. So I'd like to give a business perspective. I'm strongly opposed to granting Sugar Mouse a liquor license because it's bad business. Mostly this is through undue concentration. Currently, there are 36 active liquor licenses within 750 feet towards bars that are in fact actually important to East Village vibrancy. Big Bar, Sophie's Bar, Boiler Room, Pangea, etc. But what really gives me concern are the inconsistencies in Mr. Ho's mission statement and the actual method of operation of his existing club Sour Mouse on Delancey Street. The following Yelp review indicates negligence and mismanagement. Myself and a couple of friends were so excited to visit this place last weekend. I had a party of 8 and 3 wheelchair persons. As reading the website, it said to call ahead to let them. It says on the website, wheelchair accessible. Upon entering Sour Mouse, it was not wheelchair accessible. They had items in a wheelchair elevator and refused to remove any of it. So my experience was really bad and I felt embarrassed. The workers were very rude. This was quite recent. And then another one on August 18th, I visited the establishment for a singles mixer organized by the Thursday app. I paid for 2 cocktails separately and closed out my tab each time. The cocktails are priced at $14 each. I have a habit of tipping in cash, so no tip was left on my credit card. I came home and there's 2 charges of $35 and $38 posted to my credit card account. This is so shady. I don't know who they have working at the bar, but this is absolutely unacceptable. I also agree, this is unacceptable on an ethical level as well as
Jennifer, if you could please wrap it up, that'd be great.
Great. The community game hall model proposed is purposely broad and misleading. It's in fact a venue for hire in the vein of WeWork, which is a catastrophic real estate venture abusing and exploiting the notion of community. We cannot let this go through. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Harold, you want to try your sound again? Can't hear you. Do you have headphones you could try? Okay, I'm sorry, Harold. If you wanted to maybe just type something and put it in the chat and I could send it to everybody, but we can't hear you and it's quite late. So sorry about that. Okay, Aaron, I'll give you a chance to respond to some of these items.
Could I, I'm sorry, could I possibly say something?
Oh,
I didn't.
Sure.
I didn't.
Sure. Sorry, I didn't see your hand. Go ahead, Larry. Oh wait, Larry, unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
There you go. Yeah.
Thank you, sorry. I've had a small apartment on East 10th Street for over 47 years, right down the block from the proposed new Sugar Mouse. Parts of our block on East 10th Street are part of the St. Mark's Historic District, designated by the City Landmarks Preservation Commission and listed on the National Register of Historic Places. For nearly half a century, I've watched the neighborhood change, in some ways for the better, with the reduction in crime, drugs, and prostitution, in other ways that were not so good, with a great deal of crowding and traffic in recent years. The proposed new venue, Sugar Mouse, has applied for a liquor license for 7 days a week. And I don't understand how it can be family friendly at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and 3 a.m. I just don't understand that. That is disingenuous. In our city, there's a place for all legal venues and activities, which this is, but East 10th Street, our neighborhood, is not an appropriate place for this venue. As some other respondents
Yeah,
have,
Larry, if you don't mind wrapping it up, that'd be great. Sorry to interrupt you. Thank you.
We have had a very serious rat problem coming from other nearby venues and at great expense to our building. So I urge the board to be sensitive to the needs of the people who actually live in the neighborhood and consider us in the way the venue's application will be handled, and vote no. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Okay, David, go ahead. I'm going to turn it over to the committee now. David, go ahead.
Okay. It sounds like a nightclub to me. There's a lot of alcohol promotion stuff in here. There's party promoters. There's a lot of loud music. Unfortunately, we just heard well over a dozen people who took 45 minutes. I don't know how much time we have to actually now do anything negotiating that way. It's just getting too late. But I don't think that the applicant is even, I mean, he is pretending. I think he's pretending to run a family-friendly business, but it is a nightclub. And unfortunately, also, it is on a commercial zoned building, and that is allowed. So I don't know what to say beyond that.
Okay, are you making a proposal, or do you want to hear from other
I'm
people?
not sure what to do. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like, why does the community bring forward, like, you know, well over a dozen people? It doesn't leave us time to focus. So I'm not at the moment, I'm thinking.
Okay, Jeanette, go ahead.
Firstly, I looked over their Instagram with the screenshot, and that screenshot was part of if you look at the video, you'd understand that that's not what they do there. I also, reviewing their Instagram, I get much more a feel that it's a bar with activities than it is a nightclub. Like, there actually aren't a lot of like glaring, like, you know, like Roman candles and things like that. In my opinion, as someone who goes to bars that has Roman candles and stuff, this is a place I would go to like have like a calmer night than not. So that's the impression I get. The issue for me, I mean, they're a good operator over there on Delancey. There are no like 301 complaints. It is in the basement, so that's kind of unfair, and it's like a totally commercial street. I think the issue for me is the bar crawls, because that is against their steps. It's like main step number like 10 or whatever. So I would be interested in hearing what the applicant has to say about that. But I mean, if they're going against their steps, I feel that my hands are pretty tied.
Okay, Aaron, do you want to just address that? Because we did find, I think Amanda, thank you, Amanda, found the listing for the bar crawl. So it seems to have been a thing. So
Right.
Aaron, I don't know if you want to try and address that or some other concerns.
So we do work with a lot of different meetups, and I think sometimes we haven't had much of anything. We do work with a lot of meetups that bring people over. And if one slipped through, as you know, pretend to be a meetup and they did a bar crawl, we'll obviously start policing this more, right? We obviously, growing a new business, we work with so many different groups bringing events there. They said that they were going to do an event with us, and you know, if they don't use the word bar crawl and just say, Aaron, want to use your space, there's very little we can do until it actually happens, right? So I do apologize that probably one or twice in the entire time, right, that we were open, that this might have happened. And obviously this doesn't happen all the time. We can do a bar crawl all the time, but we don't. We try to stick with all the rules. You know, there's a lot of talk about us being a club, being a nightlife place. You know, clubs don't open 7 days. They don't sponsor all these events. We don't have any wait lines outside because we purposely do not work with promoters that drive outside. That's why we have no lines outside. And I know that we're going through social media and trying to interpret things in different ways. But at the end of the day, you know, 75% of our space is covered with games. You know, that's what we are. We offer games to people. And, you know, people do drink, but the average consumption of alcohol is actually 1.25 per person. It's actually very low. If it was a club, the average drinks would be a lot higher. You know, we do care about people having a good time and being safe. People talked about having one security guard. The reason we don't need 20 security guards like every other club is because we don't have issues. People are not inebriated. We are not a nightclub. And obviously it was interpreted as, oh, they don't care. They only have one security guard. You know, the reason is because people are not fighting. They're not inebriated. It's because they are sharing their time with people, playing games, and hence they're not binge drinking. I still stand by the fact that we are offering a service to the community. We sponsor so many different nonprofit events. We sponsor events for musicians to get together. You know, all of this has to come with a business model that is viable.
Thanks, Aaron. Has anyone ever brought concerns to you before about these types of events?
No.
Okay, I'm just asking that because we typically, as we've said with other applicants, is that we aim for education, not punishment, and it's not really fair to an applicant to have, I mean, we understand that it's breaking steps, but it's not eliciting complaints. We've had other applicants who have broken steps, like, for example, if you guys remember Canary Club, they were having ticketed events when they weren't stipulated to allow to have ticketed events. So I'm like a little bit torn about that because no one's ever made a complaint to him about it. It's not always fair for them to just come. People, and Susan, I would like you to back me up on this because you consistently have said this in meetings that it's not fair for operators to be confronted with complaints at the meeting because there hasn't been one beforehand. And I will second what Jeanette said. I saw the video of the alcohol being squirted into the person's mouth. It was clearly a joke. So it had a caption saying what we wish people ordered when we're busy, because it's obviously a joke about how it's quicker to serve alcohol. I just all saying this to try to, you know, be as fair as possible. So Susan, go ahead.
You still want me to say something? You know, I'm hearing all these complaints about businesses on 3rd Avenue for the first time. I've never had a complaint. And as I've been getting these emails, I've been asking people, please, you know, if you have a problem with the place, you've got to report it so we can let them know. So yes, you know, I will back that up. We had a place down the block from the office that was breaking his steps, and I took a copy of the steps into him, and he corrected it. So yes, that is always the first step. I gotta say, I was really surprised to see the bar crawl list.
Amanda, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to add that I actually have been to Sour Mouse before I
even join the community boards. I think from an objective patron point of view, it is not a club. That being said, going back to the breaking the steps and being on the bar crawl list, what would make me feel comfortable is now that you have that information, would you feel comfortable potentially removing yourself from that bar crawl, right? As an act of good faith or some sort of in between there. I'm not sure what ability we have, but I'm just curious
Of course.
about, yeah.
I talk a lot about my background, and the truth is I try to do everything by the books. It's honestly, we have a 5,000 square foot space. Easily we could convert it into a club, remove all the gaming tables that take up 80% of the space and make it into a club. But that's not what the community authorized for us to do. So we're games. Like, it's not about, I understand we need to be profitable, but it's not the bottom line here. I think we do offer an alternative for people to get, to hang out and not get drunk. And yeah, they found a video that was supposed to be, comical, and it was, it was interpreted in very different ways. And that's why when we met with the community, we invited them to come and see what we actually do. We're open 7 days a week. There is perhaps 3 hours of a Friday and 3 hours of a Saturday where the music gets a little bit louder, but everything we do is, outside of that, we are truly a community game hall.
Okay, thanks, Aaron. I'm just gonna turn it over to the applicant, the board members. Sorry, it's been a very long day for me already. David, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just want to ask, why do you intend to have third-party promoted events and events at which a cover fee would be charged by the event organizer? You're going to lose control over what happens at the place, is what I think happens when you have promoted events. Would you be willing to get rid of that as part of your business model?
So, we work with third parties to run a jam session. We work with third parties to put on comedy shows. We obviously police it and engage it and make sure that it's something that fits with our model. The fact that we are incident free, I think, speaks to how we are operating the business that is obviously legal and above board. We don't have issues.
Yeah, David, I think it's, if you saw how I wrote it, it's that a cover fee would be charged by the event organizer. We can be more specific about that. I think, Aaron, that's like, you mean like it would be like a pre-bought ticket, right? It's not like taking money at the door.
So, right. So our model is that we don't charge cover, right? We're a community game hall. So we put on over 12 different programs a week, and it's always free for the community. That's something that we do. We sponsor a lot of these. A lot of these are just there to help build a community for artists, a community for musicians, a community for comedians. That's why we don't charge cover at the door. There are times where a comedian would say, "Oh, can I charge a fee online to drive people?" And we said, "Sure," but we never turn anybody away at the door. So, clubs is a place where they charge $20 covers. They have lines outside. We don't have that. And the fact that we don't have that, I think, speaks to how we're trying to keep the business as neighborly as possible.
Okay, thanks, Aaron. Does that answer your question, David?
Yeah, I understand what he's saying.
Okay, Susan?
Yeah, just as far as going back to Amanda's comment, as far as the steps, the bar crawls, I think would say to you what we would say to anybody. They have to be removed tomorrow.
Yes,
you can't do that. Thank you.
Thanks. Jeanette, go ahead.
I feel like we've heard enough for the committee. I think like some of us are in decision, but I think I've heard enough. I personally Aaron, obviously you need to get rid of the bar crawls, maybe pay a bit more attention to what your bar is being offered up to.
Right.
I think that's the slap on the wrist that we're like admonishing here. But then I think all around, like there have been no complaints. It's 3rd Avenue. There's like bars right across the street. It's a commercial place. And the events that I'm seeing, I'm echoing Amanda's sentiment about the bar that's about Mouse LLC. It's not a place that people go. It's not a nightclub. Dom Perignon is just expensive. So I mean, I'm done with the discussion, I think, and I think I'm okay with it as long as Aaron, like you hear that this is like not okay. He's hearing that he's breaking the steps. He's going to amend the situation. I think we proceed with the application and say same thing, no bar crawls.
Okay. All right,
Curious to
Susan,
hear what the
anything
other-
substantive to answer? I really want to keep this to the committee if we can. Susan Setzer.
I'm sorry, it was from before.
Oh, that's okay. Okay, I would just ask everyone to stop raising your Zoom hand, stop typing in the chat. The committee is going to discuss this now with no further public input. So what about if I propose committee 2 a.m. on Friday and Saturday nights instead of 3 a.m.? Would we be amenable to that committee?
I would second such a motion. So if you'd like to move it, I would second it.
Okay, any objections, committee, to adopting that 2 a.m. on weekends, Friday and Saturday? Okay, so that would be making it 1 a.m. Sunday to Wednesday and 2 a.m. all other nights. Paul,
Michelle.
were you gonna say something? Sorry.
So what guarantee we have there's no pub crawls?
Well, it's in the stipulations.
Yeah, but you still didn't know that there was no pub crawls. He choked. There was no pub crawls. The place didn't just get created. It was there for like a while. He knows what's wrong.
So I think Paul, the only thing we can do is put it in the stipulations, and if he is breaking them, people make complaints about it, and that would be, we would.
The office will follow up.
We'll make
Yeah.
sure it doesn't happen again. Yeah.
David Crane.
Entrance on, sorry, this is not about what you just said. It's another one. But the entrance.
Okay, can we,
Yeah, next.
Okay, so sorry, we're on the 2 a.m. closing Thursday to Saturday committee. Do I hear an objection to that? Okay,
I would say every day 12 o'clock and just 2 days till 2 a.m.
sorry, say it again, you broke up, Paul.
I would say every day till 12 and then 2 a.m. for the 2 days. It's a huge space, 5,000 square feet.
So you're proposing 12 a.m. during the week and then 2 a.m. weekends?
Yeah, just on Friday and Saturday. It's a huge space. Doesn't matter how many pool tables you put in it. Especially if you
Okay.
have it.
Anyone on the committee?
Wait, I'm sorry.
wanna-
What's your point about it being a big space and doing it till midnight?
It's 5,000 square feet. Tonight.
I-
5,000 square feet. You know how big that is? And especially if you're
That's not, my point is, what's the point?
Mhm.
If it's bigger, they have more rent to cover. I don't get it. What's the point?
What are you talking about, Jeanette?
Wait,
And
Paul,
now-
Jeanette's just asking what,
Now-
can you
now-
connect the space and the
now I'm gonna-
time?
Now I'm gonna answer you, and I'm gonna get blocked by you, Michelle. You can't put so many people in there, especially he doesn't even know that he had pub crawls at pubcrawl.com. Are you shitting me right now? This is like, I mean, come on. What's my space, Jeanette, with 10 people, 1,000 people, and 2,000 people? What's my point? You can't control, especially if you're not there.
Okay, that's all I was asking.
That's
for.
helpful. Yeah, that's helpful, Paul. Okay, so you're proposing, Paul, 12 a.m. Sunday to Thursday and 2 a.m. Friday and Saturday, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You can do whatever you want, but it's insane.
I know, but is there a second for that adoption of hours. David, I see your hand up.
I second that.
Okay.
Is there a way we can go to 1 a.m.? It's a very financial hour, important financial hour. You know, the only way for us to cover our overhead is to have the hours of opening. It's like I said, we haven't had any issues closing at 1 a.m.
Okay. I mean, I'm personally fine with 1 a.m. Sunday to Thursday and 2 a.m. Friday to Saturday.
I am as
Maybe-
well. I don't think an hour makes that much of a difference.
I think it
Jesse,
make more of a difference to their bottom line than it probably does to that, but I could go do 1 a.m. if you want to do a straw poll and see.
Amanda,
I'm okay with 1 a.m. because that's the hours of operations for the Delancey spot.
okay. David,
Midnight.
okay. Well, it's not, okay, well, 4 of us are fine with the 1 a.m. Sunday to Thursday and 2 a.m. Friday to Saturday, so that will carry. Okay, and David, I know you wanted to bring up the 3rd Avenue thing. I have a stipulation. Hold on, let me just share the resolution.
Oh, is it there? I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You're gonna add it? If
It's in
there-
the, it's number 5.
Okay, got it. Just want to make sure.
Okay, closing by 1 Sunday, Thursday. Sorry, just adding the reso quickly. So Aaron, you're proposing to open no later than 2 p.m. all days, right?
Right.
Okay. All right, Kenny, I was gonna share my screen. Okay. Kenny, do you mind sort of reading through this? I mostly said all of it at the top. This is background on the other location.
Should we include that we have been made aware of pub crawls?
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I'll just flesh this out about the people who testified tonight. Okay.
Citing evidence of
Oh,
bar crawl participation at the Sour Mouse LES location. I'm with you, Paul. Like, if it's your bar and it's your license, you should know what's going on and what your rules are. But he's been made aware of it.
I'm not voting, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh, okay. I'm, you know.
Bullshit. You don't know what's going on 3 times. You're actually on the website. So who's actually controlling the place? I make mistakes too in my places, but when it comes down to it, I'll spank him in the face.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
come on, please.
it's not.
Let's be a little bit professional.
all.
If you put evidence of bar call participation contrary to stipulations.
Thank you, Susan.
Should we note that he's going to rectify? Because otherwise we're saying he broke the steps and then just setting another,
Like
you know
you
what I
say,
mean?
but promised, but upon being made aware,
Yeah.
promised that he would
Promise to
provide.
rectify.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Jeanette. Okay. Committee, any other flags?
I'm sorry to interrupt,
No,
but
you cannot interrupt.
there's an
Thank you, Jeanette. Committee, any other flags? Okay, I'm gonna share my screen with the steps in that case. Bear with me to me. It was open. Okay. Committee, pay attention, Aaron, pay attention, and then we'll go through this. And Jeanette, just please be on mute alert, please. Okay, so this is application for 4753 3rd Avenue, Sugar Mouse LLC. Operate a gaming hall, kitchen open and serving food during all hours of operation, opening no later than 2 p.m. all days and closing by 1 a.m. Sunday to Thursday, including closing by 2 a.m. Friday to Saturday. We'll have no outdoor space, security guard on all days, closed fixed facade, no promoted events, no more than 3 televisions. Let me add in just this is basically the same language that we had for Sour Mouse about the music and stuff. I promise I will make this easier to read. I'll fix this, committee, don't worry. I just need to add I need to add space at the bottom. They'll not apply for an alteration without coming back here. No pub crawls or party buses. That, Aaron, of course, is very, very important to us. No unlimited drink specials, no happy hour, no wait lines outside, staff person for ensuring no loitering. And you will only have an entrance for patrons on 3rd Avenue, not on East 10th Street. It may have events where organizers charge fees. David, is that good for your 3rd Avenue?
Yeah, please. Yes.
Okay. Committee, any flags? Okay. Aaron, any flags before we vote on this?
No, it looks good. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. All right, committee, we're gonna vote on this.
I'm waiting all night. So excited.
I appreciate your enthusiasm, Jeanette. All right, number 6, 101 East 10th Street. David Crane,
No.
Jeanette, Kim,
Yes.
Amanda Lou,
Yes.
Jesse Beck,
Yes.
Paul Ciros. That's Paul. Michelle Cooper Smith. Yes. Okay. So this motion carries. We will send you 6 tomorrow morning. Thank you to everyone who came tonight. Sorry this took so long. We have one more to do, committee. I'm sorry. It's 210 Avenue A. Are the applicants for 210 Avenue A here?
My enthusiasm was because I thought it was the last one.
Sorry.
Yes. I withdraw my enthusiasm.
Sorry,
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
evening.
Committee, hi, everyone. Okay, so committee, we discussed this at length last month. We decided to table this application for 210 Avenue A. Basically in the interim, so that we could figure out what was going on with the pending. If we remember, there is a pending application, I should say, at the SLA for an applicant that we approved for stipulations last year. They signed the stipulations earlier this year. That application is currently winding its way through the SLA process. Susan doggedly chased down the SLA, who the head of the licensing division, who told us that the SLA will not consider a new application while there is a pending application. So effectively, if we passed a substantive resolution about the merits of the application tonight, they'd have to come back and apply again, and we'd have to do it all over again. And so my suggestion would be that we follow SLA protocol, which is not to hear a new application for a space where there's a pending application. Susan, anything you want to add to that?
No, I agree that that's a good protocol to follow the SLA one. The reason that the applicant, I believe, wants us to vote now is so that they can finalize internal deals, which really shouldn't have to do with us approving or not approving the application.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
You spoke with Tom Donahue at the State Liquor Authority, Susan?
Yeah.
And he said that if the Blondie's application was withdrawn.
I didn't ask about yours.
Okay, well, that's the question, and that is why we're here, and this is what I've tried to explain.
Wait, what do you mean, Susan, that you didn't ask
Well,
about there?
I
You
said
didn't ask-
if there, I didn't say if somebody withdraws an application. If you withdraw an application, then they have to start over anyway. If you apply while there's a pending application,
We're not going to do that.
Not be heard, and you need to start all over.
We're not going to do that, Susan. That's not what's going to happen. The way that procedurally what would happen is if you're able to agree to the same stipulations that you agreed to with Blondie's, then at that point, Blondie's will withdraw their application at the State Liquor Authority, and we will file an application in the name of Alphabet City Group LLC. And the SLA will hear it as long as our 30-day notice was given to you no more than 270 days before the date that our application is filed.
So
Procedurally, there's nothing improper about what's happening here.
What if I could say, you have given us a number of scenarios, and that the fact that the applicant could withdraw was one scenario. But it has been very complicated and confusing. It has not been straightforward, which is why we went to the SLA.
From the beginning, from the outset, Susan, my explanation has been consistent and it's been clear. The Blondie's is financially distressed. They're trying to sell their assets. They want to sell their assets to the entity that I represent. And so we're here asking for the same stipulations that you agreed to with Blondie. So that then Blondie's can withdraw and we can apply.
That was always presented as an option. That was always presented as an option. It was always presented as an option. It was never, if this happens, that happens. What you're asking for is a guarantee, and the committee can decide to do that or not do it. But the Blondie's withdrawn was always an option that could happen. It's not that that was going to happen. And I will say that every time we went back to you for information to try to understand, it was like more information came out. And
yeah, I think the problem for us, Michael, is that it was, listen, we're not full-time SLA people. It's been very confusing for us. We cannot tell you how many hours Susan and I have spent trying to figure out what is going on here, because we have gotten, I'm backing Susan up on this because I was on all these emails. We've talked many times about this, and we've never had an application like this where there's a pending application at the SLA and we get a new one. And I think, Susan, what you're talking about, the if then is if we approve them, then Blondies would pull out, right?
it's
Susan?
also was never straightforward. It was always an option. This could happen, they could withdraw, or this could happen. It was not straightforward.
It's the only way that we can proceed.
I'm just
It's the
giving
only
you
way,
our-
it's
I'm
the
giving
only,
you
it's,
our explanation. I believe you. I absolutely believe what you're saying.
there
I'm
is no other option
giving you our
because the state liquor authority will not consider both applications at the same
I
time.
know, that's exactly what I said.
Right, that's what we're confused about, is because why has Relaxa Blondies not withdrawn then from the
He
SLA
wants a
consideration?
guarantee.
Because
So what it is
that's
he
right,
wants
because
a
they're going
guarantee.
to pursue if they will. So this is sort of the decision, right? They're financially distressed, but they're not going to lose the investment that they've already made in this property. So you can if the applicant that's before you, who's not financially distressed, who's well qualified, who's reached out to the community and has support, if they move away, right, because we can't reach an agreement, then Blondies is going to pursue its application, and then you may have a financially distressed operator in the space, or you may have a financially distressed operator who brings in other people to manage, and you won't know who those people are unless they're taking more than.
Oh, Michael, you froze.
I said.
Sorry, you just froze.
Sorry. So you can have, right, and you have a choice, because you can either make an agreement with this applicant who has reached out to the community, who's qualified, who's in a good financial position to move forward. Or if that doesn't happen, Blondies is not going to withdraw their application, because they're not going to lose the investment they've already made in the property. You see the photographs that we submitted with our questionnaire. It's a fully built out space. They're not just going to walk away. So they're financially distressed. They're going to try to open. You know how that can go, because you've seen that. They might bring in other operators. They might bring in other partners who you won't know about, because unless they take 80% or more of the corporation or the LLC, then they're not under an obligation to give a 30.
Froze again.
We're only asking for the same steps as Blondies, and so I don't think it's. I mean, I'm sorry if it's confusing, but it's really quite simple. Blondies can move forward, and their application, they've signed the steps. It'll wind its way through the SLA and ultimately likely be approved, and then they'll be in operating, right, in whatever capacity they're able, or we can reach an agreement, and our client will buy the assets of Blondies, and they'll file an application, and they will open.
Okay, so if I could just say, because Michelle and I have been reading these emails for a long time, a lot of emails. We've gone back and forth with you to try and understand. And part of the problem has been that it was never made absolutely clear, and I don't think it was our ignorance at all. It was never made absolutely clear what would happen. I think part of it is because when you say, if this doesn't happen, they'll do this, it wasn't made clear that they would fail if they did that. It was presented as an option. I don't understand. perhaps you might want to explain why they can't go through, get the license, and then turn around and have you apply and buy the assets. It seems the only thing against
could-
that is that you want the guarantee first, right?
No, it's that our client doesn't want to wait the next, it's going to be, you know, they filed in June. It's the middle of September. It will likely be the beginning of next year before Blondie's application is approved and they're able to open. It'll be, I don't know, February. The SLA's processing times are not great right now. So it's going to be next year before that application is acted on. And we would prefer not to wait that period of time. Blondie's doesn't want to wait that period of time because they're having, you know, they want to sell the business to us, the bar to us.
I
So
get it
this
all.
is just a matter of timing, really.
I get it all. I'm just really saying that Michelle and I spent a lot of time with you on emails and the SLA trying to understand the options and what you were doing. And I will say, it's like every email, some more information comes out, so it's more understandable now. I don't know, Michelle, what you want to say about that?
Yeah, I think that, Michael, just like for your transparency, it really like wasn't clear to us, as Susan said. So that's been our real hesitation here. So if the real answer is what you just said, you know, they will withdraw if you are approved. Is that accurate? Relaxed Blondies will withdraw from the SLA process if we approve you, if the Community Board 3 approves you. Is that accurate?
Yes, it is. That's what I
Okay.
said in my email of September 7th, Michelle.
But you also gave other options.
No, I was explaining that it's not a stock transfer. I was trying to answer one of the questions in your email below. We've been transparent in this process. No one's been trying to hide anything from you. It's an asset sale. I've said that. I said that at the last
Hello?
meeting. Yeah. Can
Hello?
you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, Jeanette, go ahead.
Okay, so I understand what's going on. I'm kind of done with the, did we understand, or we get it now? Let's now act under the presumption that we all understand what's going on. Actually, I'm not totally there, but in my mind, when we're evaluating an application, we're looking at the operators, the operator history, and the location history, like all that good stuff. None of it's truly impacting my ability to assess the application. So like, I'm okay if it's procedurally okay to go through this application and pass the resolution as it's like kind of sitting here. If it is inappropriate, because it sounds like this just needs to happen for the transaction to happen. And we're not in the business of like expediting people's business transactions. Like that's not our job. So although it would prevent these operators from like getting the bar that they want, that's not really our problem. Like, so I'm either, it's not really our problem that it blocks them. We can just wait for Blondie's to withdraw. Or we have all the information that we would have gotten anyway, because that's what the application is. So we just go ahead and evaluate it. Like which pool are we in right now as a committee?
Okay, yeah, I agree with that assessment, Jeanette, now that we see the situation.
Yeah.
So let's let
I'm asking the
David,
group, where we
David,
land.
go ahead.
Yeah, so this is very unusual that there is a third party in this business transaction that could have been explained clearly last month. It wasn't. So, and then now I'm hearing tonight that like basically we have to decide between which of the two applicants we actually want to be in the place. And that if we don't approve this, I mean, I can't think of how you describe it, but you know, this transaction where they're going to sell assets on something that I don't know even what those assets are. But basically so that Blondie's gets a cut. If we don't approve of Blondie getting a cut, then maybe Blondie will come in there and be a bad operator. Maybe we don't want that. Whatever, it makes me, it doesn't feel good. But let's talk about can we just talk about the resolution that we had drafted? As unpleasant as this is, thank you.
Well, I think we have two options, which is we deny because of SLA protocol, come back to us when, you know, Relax Blondies withdraws or whatever, or come back to us with an asset transfer, or we do an approval. I have both resolutions saved in the September 2022 folder now. Because Michael, right, you said that they would accept the exact same steps as Relax Blondies had, right?
I believe that's right, with the exception of number 7, which I'm not sure what Blondie's stip was, but I know that we spoke of this last month, Michelle, and I indicated that they would close any front and rear facade doors and windows at 10 p.m. every night. So that's what's in this. That's what. But other than, and I think I'm not sure whether that's the same or different, but that's different than what.
That's fine. That is not a that is not a substantive one to argue about. Don't worry.
Otherwise, what we put in our I believe that what we resubmitted to you is consistent with what what you agreed to with Blondies, and our client will agree to that.
Okay. Okay, David, go ahead.
Okay, I would prefer, but you know, it's careful what you wish for. I would prefer to say, you know, no, we're not going to approve it because there's another pending application. And however, what will the SLA do? Because by the time it gets to them, as he's pointed out, by the time the SLA gets this new application, Blondie will have withdrawn, and they can say, well, we did notify the community board way back.
No, it's a 30-day notice.
30-day notice before they go to the SLA?
Yes, the notice they give us is called a 30-day notice.
And they can't say, well, we notified them way before July, and they had a couple hearings and
well, we'd have a resolution. We'd have a resolution saying what happened.
Right.
There, the SLA, and after a certain period, they would have to reapply, start over anyway. I'm not proposing, I'm not suggesting
I understand
one action or the other. I'm just saying that you could do both.
Okay, so, I mean, that's what I would prefer. Other committee members, do you think that we would be shooting ourselves in the foot by doing that? Because that could mean that Blondies will go forward, not be well capitalized to be able to do it, and then just start, I don't know, behaving badly to try to cover their rent. What do you think, committee?
It is not our place to address the viability of a business. I do see that it could devolve into operations that lend themselves to not keeping to the rules. I kind of get that, but like, I don't think our operation is to comment on the viability. So if Blondies gets through, then these guys will still want to buy it later. Then they can buy it later. I don't know.
I don't think that they are divorced, Jeanette. I think that that we do have some responsibility to ensure we have a viable operator, because we know that it becomes a terrible impact often when we don't have one. I mean, we really do go, this business doesn't make sense. You're going to end up.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. But
that's fair.
I don't know if that's really a likely outcome. The fact is, it's in an oversaturated zone. And I'm not sure why we passed the original one for Blondies. But I don't, you know, that's also in the mix here, strategy wise. It's 06.
Where are the other committee members on?
Yeah, Amanda, what are you thinking?
I'm split. I'm trying to think of what more information I need in order to lean one way or the other. Yeah, sorry.
Are we calling into question? Are we? Yeah. What's the question that we want? The straw poll. I guess I'm calling a straw poll right now. Are we rejecting this application because the SLA is not going to hear it, and then calling it? Can I get a straw poll on the yes, no there?
And then would the other option be just approving them with the same exact steps as we did for the one we already approved?
Well, yeah, but after we get the yes, no on that one, because if everyone's like, let's not entertain this, let's just say no, because
yeah,
then you know, all of this is moot. We just say, okay, we'll pass the buck.
Sure. I think I'm fine with, I've been convinced that we don't need to deny this.
Okay. I think
Yeah.
David's on the other side.
Wait, what does that mean? Don't.
I said I've been
My
convinced.
straw poll question is, would you vote to deny this application outright because the SLA will not entertain it until the other application is withdrawn? It's the yes, no question there.
Deny because still pending. Will you vote for a deny because still?
Yeah,
pending?
yeah, you would deny because it's pending.
Well, I would.
Okay, that's the question I'm calling, because I'm unsure if
Well,
I want to separate the
oh,
two
oh,
debates,
yeah.
kind of.
Okay, and what about you, Jeanette?
I wasn't sure what y'all meant by like procedurally SLA would tell us that, like, since they're not, we want to, I didn't get that part, but in
It
my head, I
doesn't
had all the
stop-
information that I need to evaluate the application, and so I wouldn't mind going through with that. I
they're
wouldn't
not
deny
saying-
just because it's pending.
They're not saying it's inappropriate.
Okay.
They're
then I
not
wouldn't- then I
saying
wouldn't.
that we should or we shouldn't. They're simply saying that they don't do this and they would have to start over.
Then
Okay.
I'm the opposite of David, and I'm with you, Michelle.
Okay, so me and Jeanette are on the same side. Amanda? Or do I go to Jesse first?
Pass for now. I think I'm
Jesse?
yeah.
Yeah, no, I would, I'm fine not to deny now that I've heard
Okay.
it.
Okay.
All right, so Amanda, you're outvoted no matter what, so.
We still
Okay.
value your vote, man.
Whatever
It's
it
just
is,
a
though,
straw poll. It's not a
you can be
formal-
secretive, you can be secretive.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I would propose that we, if we're going to vote on the substantive nature of this application, that we just basically, I have a resolution that has like all the history that I described last month about this space, plus the stipulations from the stipulations. But Michael, could you just look at this, please, and make sure it's all accurate?
Did you draft this
Okay.
last month or since the last meeting, Michelle?
This is the stipulations from Relax the Blondies.
Oh, so let me compare it to what we submitted. All right, restaurant, full kitchen.
Committee, can you just look through the top of it on Google Drive while Michael's looking at the steps, please? See if there's anything you want to add.
Scott Connolly, please read this over. I see you there. I know you're tuned in, so please look at it.
It's good to have two eyes on these things, right?
I will now.
Where do you address security, Michelle?
We don't usually put that in the written
you don't.
stipulations. We
You
put
don't.
that in the like
Okay.
the STIPS form. So what I
Yeah,
have
it's
in
in
the
the-
STIPS form, one doorman during busy periods.
Right, exactly. I just didn't know if you wanted it
Sure.
here too.
No, we don't usually include it here, but thank you for checking.
There are duplicate whereas clauses, Michelle.
You could, okay, so delete it.
Oh, okay, I'll record it. I got
If they're just copies, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, they're not precise copies.
Okay, you'll wait.
I'll describe it while we're here. One is saying this application was reviewed in December 2021.
Oh, yep.
And then the two more, it says this application was reviewed, but the ending point of that is saying that the former applicant signed this, the license is currently pending with the SLA, CB3 is considering the same exact stipulations. If we could just combine the two, then they wouldn't be
Okay.
duplicative.
Sure.
Yeah, that looks good.
It does.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let me
Thank
just
you.
scroll to this. Okay, so Jeanette, where is this? Oh, here.
Yeah, you just want to take the last sentence of the, if that's clause 1 in clause 3, CB3 is
Okay.
considered the same exact stipulations, just take that line, move it up, and then you can delete the rest of the clause. Yeah, that one.
Okay. Committee, any
So
flags? Oh,
the-
sorry, go ahead, Michael.
The way I read that, Michelle, is the hours are 4 PM to midnight, Monday and Tuesday, 4
Yep.
PM to 1 AM on Wednesday,
Wednesday.
4 PM to 2 AM Thursday and Friday, and 12 PM to 2 AM on Saturday, and 12 PM to 12 AM on Sunday. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So we're right then.
Okay, great. Yes, that's a confusing one. I'll admit it. Okay, then let me share the actual SIPs form then, just to make sure that everything is correct on there, Michael, unless you want to keep squinting at it.
Yeah, you mean on the questionnaire?
Yeah, let me just, guys, we're almost done. The most exciting thing is we might only have like 2 applications next month.
Don't tell me with a good time, Michelle.
Michael's like, I should have come back next month.
I
What
won't
the
be
hell?
here
I
next, I
fucked
won't
up.
be here next month.
Excuse my French.
No.
Nobody
no.
will be here next month.
Yeah, except for us. Okay,
All right.
so let me read down this. Alphabet City Group LLC, 210 Avenue A between 13th and 14th, liquor, wine, beer, an American fusion restaurant. Kitchen open until 1 hour before closing. 4 PM Monday to Friday, closing by 12 AM Monday and Tuesday, 1 AM Wednesday, 2 AM Thursday and Friday, opening no later than 12 PM Saturday and Sunday, 2 AM Saturday, 12 AM Sunday. Close all outdoor dining by 10 PM. They'll have a security doorman during one busy period. During busy periods, close any rear or front or rear facade doors by 10 PM. No DJs, no promoted events, no event with a cover fee, no scheduled performances, no more than 12 private parties per year. They can have, they may have live acoustic jazz music without drum sets, no more than 1 time a week on Friday or Saturday, only played over 10. Do you want this specific stuff? Is that, I guess they already probably have that.
Scott, is that what's in there now? See what Michelle has highlighted?
Trying to,
It's actually not sharing on my screen. Can you refresh it there, Michelle, just so I can see? It's not loading on my side.
here, let me put it in the chat. Live, played over 10 6-inch non-vibrating JBL speakers without subwoofers. That was what that's what we did for Relax at Blondie's. So I don't know if you want it that specific or if it's already kitted out. We could just say over speakers without subwoofers. Would that be better?
Yeah.
I think that's fine, committee, right?
Was the reason for the 10 speakers because of using that kind of system?
I think it was like the system that they knew they were going to have. That's why we put in the specific things. But the real problem was they didn't want subwoofers.
But I think the issues, I don't know if this is what the issue is, but the, systems with a lot of small mics are less of a noise problem.
Oh, that did not come up. Okay, no wait lines, staff person responsible for ensuring no loitering. If you have a happy hour, it'll end at 8. No unlimited drink specials, no pub crawls, as you heard, and that you'll ensure that no sound is audible in any surrounding residences, and will work with a sound engineer to address any soundproofing deficiencies as necessary. All good?
Yep, I think so.
Okay, committee, any flags? Okay, I'm gonna move us to a vote in that case, and we'll consider this the outgoing vote also. David Crane,
No.
Amanda Liu,
Yes.
Jeanette Kim,
Yes.
Jesse Beck,
Yes.
Michelle Cooper Smith. Yes, okay, this motion carries. We will send you the steps tomorrow morning, and thanks you for your patience for sitting through this extremely long meeting with us.
Thank you for hearing us. We
Uh,
appreciate
Thanks
it.
very
much, guys.
Thank you so
everyone.
much,
Thank you,
guys.
committee.
Thank you, community board.
See you next week.
Have a
Thank
nice
you.
night.
Thanks very much, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for